cool. We're live. It
Sweet.
seems. So yeah, it's Friday night shite. And also I did talk to Jonesy. He's busy until about I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes from now. So he
Okay,
might pop in.
that's
Um
that's cool.
yeah. But yeah, I mean it's Friday night, everybody's got shit going on, and you and I are probably some of the only people that don't have shit going on
Well,
because I work from
yeah,
home
because
and your schedule allows for a little bit of
well,
time on Fridays.
that's because I work Saturdays.
That
Fuck,
yeah, but
I,
yours yeah.
I got to start my day at 2 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Thank you for your cervix.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah. No.
Fucking
Um.
the one customer that I delivered to today, I had to go there twice, and I ended up spending a grand total of 6 hours there today. Fucking sucked.
How long should that have taken?
Maximum two.
Yeah. There you go. Good stuff. It's great. It's so efficient. The entire economic system is so
Um,
efficient. Yeah. I love it.
well, they've got 5 intake bays, and two of the intake bays they do washouts, and those 2 bays take an hour per truck. Two of the bays they don't do washouts, and those take about half an hour per truck. And then they have one bay that all they're doing is washouts. They're not unloading. They just wash trucks out in that fifth bay, and
Yeah.
that's about a half hour per truck. So and so 5 intake bays, and they had one person working all 5 bays all day
Nice. Nice.
because the other guy called in sick.
Yep.
And the one
Amazing.
guy that was working is the new guy.
Oh, so I'm sure his day fucking sucked.
Yeah.
Major dick.
Yeah.
Oh man, that oh god. Yeah, that's like yes, you get thrown into it, it sucks and whatever. You get better at it, hopefully, eventually. Or you just say fuck it and then I'm gonna get a better job. And that's the
Mo-
problem.
Most of the time that's what happens at this plant.
Hmm.
They've in the 2 years that I've been going there, they've gone through so many intake workers, it isn't fucking funny.
No, and it sucks. It's like, dude, I
And they
get
pay really good too. They pay close to $30 an hour.
right, but here's the thing: is if you're constantly like, so okay, let's put our let's put our shoes on for that guy, right?
Yeah.
He's sitting there today. He's got everything to worry about.
Mhm.
And he doesn't know what the fuck to do, and he's getting yelled at by truckers and his manager per se, and he's getting screamed at, and he doesn't know
Yep.
what he's trying to do his best. What incentive is there to stay there, even if you're making $30 an hour?
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I don't ever take it out on the intake guys when something like that happens. In
Right.
fact, that plant where actually the drivers are actually not supposed to do anything. They basically let you in the bay and you sit in your truck and they do everything. Today I actually got out and I'm like, "Hey, do you want me to help you?" And he's like, "That would be so appreciated." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Cool." I said anything to make your day a little easier.
Yeah, because you know when somebody's trying and they're just it's
Yeah.
a suck day.
Yep.
But hey, here's the thing: if they're trying, yeah, I'll go out and help them. Like if
Mhm.
I when I was working back in the day, I'll go out and help them, and it's like, okay, we're in this shit storm together
Yep.
because we're both getting fucked, just in different ways. And but here's the thing: is if that guy would have been just sitting there like, well, that's the way it goes, whatever. No, I'm not going to help you. Go fuck
No.
yourself.
No,
But
he
if
was
he's
busting his
busting
fucking
ass,
ass.
yeah, he's busting ass. It's like, all right, well, I'm stuck here as long as you are. So can I
Yep.
make my process shorter in the time being and also help somebody,
Yeah. And that's
So
exactly the way once I found out that he was by himself and the other guy called in sick, and the other guy has been there longer than I've been going there. And the other guy never calls in sick. So if he calls in sick, he's
he,
fucking
he's
sick.
he's sick. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I found that out, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna do whatever I can to help move this process along
Yeah.
because this is a bag of suck, and there's way too many drivers coming in here who all they're doing is just sitting on their fucking asses in their trucks.
Right. And that's here's the thing is like that's all their job tells them and that they should do, right?
Hmm. Yep,
But
that's all they're required to do.
exactly. And technically speaking, yes. But yeah, I'm one of those people like I think you are the same way. Like if I see somebody struggling and they're trying, they're really hard, like trying,
Yep.
and all my obligation is to sit on my ass, I cannot do that. I
Yep.
have to go, all right, how could I help?
Well, I had a situation like that with one of my coworkers last Saturday. You know, I'd been one of the plant that I was at. You know, I've been going there for better part of 7 years with two different companies hauling two different products, and you know, it's not a problem for me to. It's kind of a difficult area to back into. The intake bays are kind of difficult to back into, and I've got it down to a science. I know exactly where my turn points are and
Hmm.
everything. And this
Yeah.
guy, he's just riding the fucking struggle bus trying to get his trailer in the
Oh,
hole.
okay. Yeah. Yep. 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 Yep.
You know, he got his setup all wrong, and then he turned all the way around and was trying to back up the wrong direction and trying to do everything the hard way. I actually stopped him. I walked up to his door. I'm like, "Hey, guy, this guy works for the same company as I do." I'm like,
Mm.
and I walk up to him. I climb out of my truck. I walk up to him like, I can see you're having trouble. Do you want me to help you?
Yep.
I'm like,
Yep.
and I told him, dude, I've been coming here for 7 years. Your setup is all wrong. I can help you. Would you like my assistance? And he fucking went off on me.
Yeah. Of
Like
course, because
he
yep.
he started fucking bad mouthing me. And I said, fine, whatever, do it yourself. I walked away.
Yep.
I threw
Fuck
my
it,
hands.
because
I literally threw my hands up and I walked away.
it's like you weren't being an asshole. You were just
No.
saying, "Would you?" Okay, I'm not undermining any of your experience or anything like that. Would
Hmm.
you like my help? Because I've been here. I've pounded the same sand. I know. I know. It's a bitch, but like And then if he
Yeah.
goes, "Fuck you," then it's over. But
Yep.
if he goes, "Yeah, I would actually appreciate that."
I would
That's
have
people
climbed
that
up in
want to
his.
learn.
I would have climbed up in his truck and I would have put him in the bay for him because
Yep.
even the intake worker at that plant, and she's an absolute bitch. You know, I get along with her because I empathize with how shitty her job can be and
Yeah.
how stupid truck drivers can be. But even she was standing outside looking at him like with her hands up, like, "What the fuck are you
The
doing?"
fuck. Yeah. Just going
Yeah.
off for. Yeah. I mean, it's an insecurity thing, and that I think that's a big difference between people that I usually associate with and in my personal life and just people is like there's times where you just put your fucking ego aside
Yeah.
and you
There,
need, you
there's
need to learn from somebody who knows better than you
in
so
the
you can
trucking
learn that
industry
skill.
in the
Yeah.
trucking industry there's no room for ego. There's
Right.
zero room for ego in trucking
Right.
because everybody, no matter how long you could be a 2 million mile driver, and it takes 10 years to get a million miles if you're driving over the road.
Yep.
You can be a 2 million mile driver, and you can have an off day where you can't put that fucking trailer in
And if
the
somebody's
middle of
willing to
in the middle
fucking
of a
help you,
yeah. You could be having an off day where you can't park that trailer in the middle of an empty Walmart parking lot.
right.
I've
Yeah.
been there.
Yeah.
Like the plant in Appleton that I go to all the time. I've been there the last 3 days. Um, there's the one bay that we use all the time. It's the hardest bay that to get into. The bay that my company uses,
Hmm.
and I've been there sometimes twice in the same day, loading in that same bay.
Yep.
The first time I greased the trailer in without even having to pull ahead to straighten out. The second time, the same day that I went there, I had like 3 or 4 pull aheads just to get the trailer in the hole. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Something's
The
not right. It's just, yeah, you're off a little
Yeah,
bit. And yeah. But here's the thing is we're all humans.
yeah. But
Nobody's
that's
fucking perfect. Yeah.
but
So
that's why there's no room for ego in my industry. Is because I've been doing this job for 8 years. I've got almost 3/4 of a million miles under my belt. I know what
yep.
I'm doing, but
Right.
I have off days.
Everybody does. In any fucking job, anywhere, anytime, no matter what the fuck it is, you're not always gonna have perfect fucking days.
No.
There's gonna be days where you are just off, and that's part of being a human being.
Hmm. And part of being a human being is empathizing with somebody who's obviously having difficulty and being willing to offer the help. But you got to put your fucking ego aside if somebody's offering if you're having
Well, it's
trouble and
it's not
somebody's
like you just
offering
went up to
help.
this guy and we're like, "Hey, you're fucking this up. Do you want me to show you how it's done?" No,
Do you
that
want?
would
Yeah,
be
I
that would
asked him. Do you? I
right.
said, dude, you got your setup all wrong. You came in the wrong way. Do you want me to help you?
Oh, so that probably wasn't a good way to approach it.
Eh,
See, you probably have to work on your communication because that guy probably he probably put up his fucking wall immediately. You got this all wrong. You got this all wrong. So, I mean, again, it's just yeah. And so like we were talking about this down in Texas, last week is the gift of gab, right? I got it from my
yeah.
dad. You know my dad,
Yep.
and when it, yeah. So I guess there's certain ways to approach situations, but here's the thing: is it's so sensitive because you don't know who the fuck you're talking to
Yeah,
at
and
all.
this guy had only been driving for my company for like a month. The guy
Oh, so
in
he's probably his fucking wall's probably right there
yeah,
because he's so fucking
and
scared about yeah,
and he's a
yeah.
minority too.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yep.
I didn't want to bring his skin color into it, but yeah, he's
He just got pissed though. He got
yeah,
immediately just
immediately
yeah. Yeah, I mean it
old angry um mm, that old angry black dude.
yeah, and he's only been driving for a month for your
Only
company and
for
it's
our
like
company for a month.
that's why I said your company. And that's not a good attitude to have. Like it's, I don't know, if somebody was like, "Hey,
And
I've
if it would
yeah,
have been anywhere else, I would have let him just do it on his own. But because of the plant that we were at and
yeah,
because of who the intake worker was, I know for a fact that intake worker has had drivers from my company banned from that plant in the past because they
yeah.
couldn't get into the bay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and so it's just like, yeah, I mean,
So I was honestly trying to help him, and I was willing to show him the best way to do it at that plant. But after he watched me back into the bay next to him about a half an hour later, he actually rolled down his window and he actually apologized to me and said, "Yeah, I watched you back in, and yeah, your way was better." And he was man enough to apologize.
hey, that's also that says a lot because it's like, maybe he was having a really fucking awful day,
Could have been,
and he was just having an awful day, and then you come up to him and you say, "Hey, your positions aren't right and everything," and that just fucking okay,
yeah,
straw that broke the camel's back. Okay, I'm gonna go off on you, even though he's going off because he needs to just get that out. And
yeah,
then yeah, if he rolled it down and apologized, like that's good, but
yeah,
still, like he could have learned something.
yep.
That's why
And
I always like
he did
yeah,
anyway because he watched me.
yeah, but yeah, I mean yeah, so there that's a good thing, but it's like the whole and yeah, I mean it's a human thing. It's like
Hmm.
you you're not always at your best at all, you know, and some days you are, and it's like, fucking, hey, let's ride that dopamine. Everything's going great. I fucking killed this day. Man,
Hmm.
awesome. Everything's going great. And then there's days where you're just like, this and this and this happened. And you're like thinking about it. And you're like, okay, who is this fucking douchebag telling me that my fucking thing is wrong? Okay, I've been driving truck for, okay, fuck you, blah, 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 blah. And then you calm down and you go, oh, well, damn, So, yeah, I get that. It's,
But I've every single time I like the biggest thing with me is every time I get a load assignment where I have to go to a plant that I've never been before, that's when I get that huge pang of anxiety because it's like when I get there, I actually want to know what I'm doing,
yeah.
or at least I want to know enough of what I'm doing so I don't look like a complete retard who just got my CDL yesterday.
Well, you always look like a complete retard, but the CDL thing's
Yes,
aside. Yeah.
but yeah, I don't look like I just got my CDL yesterday.
Yeah.
So but and so every single time I get told to go to a plant that I've never been to before, the first thing that I ask is, who can I talk to? Which one of my coworkers can I talk to get a rundown on this place?
Yep.
That's the first thing that I ask every single time. I've been doing it for every single fucking trucking company I've driven for. And most of the time the answer is, well, just go there and figure it out.
Okay.
It's like, fuck.
Yep. Great.
Or sometimes I'll get well, we've never been to this company, so we don't know.
Yeah, and that's also a
You're
good
literally the
answer.
first. You're
Yeah.
literally the first one. So if you could let us know when you get there, that would be
Yeah, go
appreciated.
blaze that fucking trail. And you have the mental
That's
wherewithal to
happened.
do that, and it's like,
Yeah.
all right, we'll just fuck this pig. We'll just get it
Yep.
done. And then
And that's happened to me. That's happened to me quite a bit, actually, especially at the last company I drove for. I delivered to the La Crosse Brewery, the city brewery. The giant 6-pack.
I don't know it if you're personally, but like,
But of it because
no,
it's a Wisconsin landmark.
no, I don't.
Oh, but yeah, the La Crosse City Brewery, they make old style. Um, I got
Oh,
sent there.
really?
Yeah, they
They
yeah
still make old style?
yeah they actually just restarted that brand.
Oh God.
Uh,
All right, yeah.
Hold on, I'm gonna pull up the world's largest 6-pack for you.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna pull the world's largest 6-pack up for you. Yeah, bud.
Yeah, there.
Yeah, your accent came out really bad right there. It
Yeah, I
was it
know. I
was
wasn't.
atrocious.
I wasn't trying.
I know you were.
Uh,
That's the problem. Is like, yeah, you got the fucking central Wisconsin fucking,
well,
yeah,
that's. I would certainly hope so because that's where I fucking live.
and you grew up there. Yeah, it's like
No,
fucking, yeah.
actually, I didn't. I grew up down in the Cooley region.
But yeah,
Present.
that's where you live now. So
Share
yeah,
screen.
oh shit, yeah,
World
the world's
this.
largest six pack, and down in La Crosse, I was
Yeah,
over
there.
there, and yeah. Oh my God, it is old style. Oh my God. So how many people in the chat know about this beer and have ever had it?
It's really good actually. I mean, for a mega brewery.
Well, it's a shitty beer, but it's that. God, yeah, I was just talking with that guy, last weekend. We were talking about
Yeah,
the beer he got
they
in Vietnam.
yeah.
He said, Schlitz was the top echelon of the shitty beers they got in Vietnam, and I was like, oh my God.
I have so many stories from my dad. My dad said that when he was in his 20s, Schlitz was the beer that he would drink until he was too drunk to say Schlitz anymore.
Yeah, well, and then I asked Don. I said, did Schlitz ever give you the Schlitz? And he goes, oh no, we were fine. And I was like, what? You guys have guts of steel. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
but
Well, yeah. Oh God, yeah.
yeah, I had a load going to the wastewater treatment plant in La Crosse, and the bills didn't the bills and the customer instructions didn't make any fucking sense because it said go to the wastewater treatment plant by the La Crosse brewery. And so I look it up on Google Maps and like, okay, right behind the brewery, right along the Mississippi River, there's a wastewater treatment plant.
Oh,
I
yep.
didn't know that the brewery had its own wastewater plant.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And so I went down to the city wastewater plant and I walked into the building and this is one of those buildings that was built in the 20s,
Yeah.
and so it had all the fucking the tile mosaic floors and all of the art deco decor, and it was just an absolutely gorgeous building. It's
Yeah.
like, why can't we have buildings like this anymore? But I walk in with my bills of lading. I parked on the street where I wasn't stuck, and I'm like, and I walk in and I find some random guy that's working in the wastewater plant, and I'm like, listen, this is what I got. I don't know where the fuck I'm going.
Yep.
And he looked at my bills and he's like, well, we weren't expecting a load of caustic today. Let me make a phone call because I think you're probably in the wrong place. He actually called over to the brewery and talked to like 3 or 4 different people over at the brewery, and like, yeah,
Hmm.
that where you need it's like, okay, get back in your truck. I'm gonna grab the city pickup. Just follow me over there. I'll show you where you're supposed to go.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
And it was literally It was literally like 2 blocks away from where I
Right.
turned to go down to the city wastewater plant.
Hmm.
And
But you got there.
yeah, I got there about an hour and a half later than I was expected. But I got there and I went and I checked in with them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you need to turn around and you need to back in right here." And you back in right on,
Yep.
you unload right on the edge of the street. I'm like, this is fucking easy. This is easier than the other plant was.
Yep. Yeah.
And so I took a whole bunch of pictures and I sent them into dispatch. I'm like, this is how we do it here. This is, if this load comes up again, tell whoever it is this is where we're going. I took I took a screenshot of the Google Maps with the pin right where the truck had to be and which direction it was facing. It's like,
So now you know if you have to go back
yep,
there.
yep.
Bam. Yep. Yeah, that's awesome.
But that's what I did anytime I got sent someplace that the company had never been or hadn't been for years, and
Right.
and
Yeah.
there was no more memory of the place. As I would send in a detailed report of, okay, this is what we do when we get there. Tell the next
Yeah.
guy.
Yep. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's where I guess your and I's thinking is a little bit different than that because we're just kind of wired to be that way. Like it's
Well, it's mission success.
well when
It,
I
it
when I
all.
was an electrician, right? So I think we talked about this before, but like I would go into a job and it's just myself and the guy that ran the business, right? And he'd be like, "All right, there's a problem with these lights, blah blah blah." And then sometimes it's like, "Okay, there's a problem in the panel." And we'd open up the panel and it looked like somebody took a fucking flamethrower to the thing. And I'm like, "Oh, fuck."
Yeah, there's a problem with the panel.
Yeah, and it's like but there was a lot of times where like well, that aside, but like but it's related is the guys who worked on that shit did not give a flying fuck what the next guy was going to have to deal with.
Yeah,
And they just quick. And I
I.
always worked. I'm like, I'm going to wire this to where the next guy that works on this is going to have an easy job. Going, all right, this is it.
Mhm.
It's fucking easy. It's cut and dry. Bam. And it might take an extra couple minutes, but I'm going to do that because bam, it's easier. When the next guy opens up that panel or that fixture or whatever the hell I was working on, they're going to be able to go, okay, I can isolate the problem, figure out the problem, and then we're good. And so I just that was my mentality the whole time. And my God, though, the time I would open up some fixtures, like the big fuckers, like we would do like we do gas station lights, which are 400 watt usually, and then we do like parking lot lights, like car dealerships, right?
Yep.
Which are the 1,000 watt HIDs they used to be. Now they're all like fluorescent or LED, but
LED. Yeah.
they used to be HID, the big halogen fuckers.
Yep.
And
The ones where you can't touch the bulb with your bare hand.
no, it's hottest. It's hotter than two rats fucking in a wool sock. I
No,
mean,
no, I'm
it's
I'm talking I'm talking about the ones where you can't touch the bulb, or the ones the oils from your hand get on the glass and they destroy the bulb, like car
that's not
headlights.
exactly true. They just burn off. They evaporate.
Mm.
But no. So it was like there'd be a lot of them where I'd go up there. What we do is like SOP was we'd go there, we'd turn all the power on, right? Bam, during the middle of the day. Okay, that one's out. That one's out. Okay, all right. Let's just start here. We're gonna go in this pattern. All right, cool. So he would drive the truck, get the outriggers down. I'd be up in the bucket, and I'd go up there. And then a lot of times the bulb was blown, whether it was the internal because they're not around anymore, like much. So like, but there's on an HID light, there's where the mercury and shit like ignites and shit. There's a glass bulb around that, and
Yep.
there's the big glass bulb. A
Yep.
lot of times it was like that was blown, and I'm like, okay, easy bulb. I unscrew it, bam, put a new one in there, and then it lights. Bam, easy, right? Done. But a lot of times it was like, okay, well, the outer glass is blown. All right, let's try this out. So I'd be like, turn off the power. So my boss would go and turn off the power. and I'd grab my wire strippers and I'd have to like go up in the socket and like unscrew the bulb because it was fucked. There's nothing to grab
Yep.
onto. And sometimes doing that, I'd get zapped when the power was off.
Yeah, because there's probably capacitors in there
Thank you. Yeah.
for starting.
Yeah. Well, right. And so I was like, a couple times I'm like, fuck. And then, okay, let's unscrew that. All right, I'll change the bulb. I just put all the glass and shit into the bucket. I'm wearing boots. It's not a big deal. And so I would screw in the new bulb, turn the power on, nothing. And I'd hear, and I'm like, okay, it's the capacitor, right? Shut it off again. Pop the capacitor, the terminals off, very carefully because they still hold power.
Mm-hmm.
Put them in the bottom of the bucket. I got rubber soles on my boots and everything. Put a new one in there. Okay, go turn the power back on. Oh, now it's the ballast. So this fucking like 30-pound chunk of metal, I have to take the bulb out. I have to take everything out and fucking replace that. But it was like, okay, that went from being a $70 job to a $200 job, like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was still like getting zapped and shit. And the first time I was doing this, right? You're talking about capacitors, right? And I I think it was like the first or second day I was doing this. We were working on 480 volt in a parking lot. Yep, two phase or 3-phase 480, right?
Yep.
And so the power's off. I unscrew the light bulb and all that shit, and the capacitor's bloated. It's like it's fucked, right?
Yeah.
So my dumbass
Just
on the
grabs
job
it.
training, yes, I grab it and I went for a fucking ride, my friend. I went for a fucking
You're lucky
ride.
you lived.
Well, no, it wasn't complete 480. Like it was just what it had left in it.
Yeah.
I went for a fucking ride because I was going
But
for
yeah,
speed.
you're
You
still
know,
you're still lucky you fucking lived because it's not the volts that kills you, it's the amps.
the amps were held in there, and so I grabbed because I was going for speed, and I grabbed this thing, and as I was grabbing it, the guy I worked for, he was like, "Don't grab the," and I just my hand was over it, and I went. I couldn't let go, and so I just like I jilted my body down with my leg, got off of it. I'm like, oh, ow, oh my god,
You
ow. And he
burn
goes,
your hand?
yeah, and he's like, don't grab the capacitor. As it was like a split second. It just happened like that, and I went, yeah. And he goes, oh my god, are you okay? Did you grab the capacitor? I'm like, yep. And he goes, shit. Are you good? And he's like, asking me questions and shit. And I'm like, I'm fine. I'm just, ow, my hand hurts really bad. And oh man. But then I went back and he's like, use your wire strippers and your gloves. Like, do this. And then, so I did that. Lesson learned. Don't grab
Yeah,
a
the
capacitor.
hard way.
The power was off, but
Yeah,
that cap still holds a lot of fucking power.
that's kind of its job.
Yep, exactly. To regulate that and mitigate, surges and shit like that. But yeah, that was
And
like,
to provide a reservoir of electricity so it can
that's what I
actually
mean.
start
Yeah.
something up.
Yep. And oh my God, did that hurt? That was, oh my God. And then, but I was like trying to play it off because it was like the second day on the job. And I'm like, nope, we're good. We're good. And I'm like, my hand doesn't work. So I'm like
Uh,
trying to do this. And then I
John
ended
of
up
all
having to change
John
the
of all
ballast
trades
on that.
and John
Right.
of all trades has a tangential comment on that.
Short bulbs and Christy. I can't read the bottom of it because I have a thing.
He said, I changed 3,000 watt
Yeah.
xenon short arc bulbs in Christie movie projectors. They're pressurized and explode sometimes, also 400 volt.
Yeah. And we'll get into that if you want to. Like
Go
I
for
got
it.
I got fucking rocked a lot of times when I was doing that job. And this is why this is actually this is the job that motivated me to go to college. Among my friends saying, you have the GI Bill, why the fuck aren't you using it? Well, I feel guilty. I don't want to use it. I don't want to go to school for anything. Well, working this job, I was like, well, I don't want to do this again ever. Like, and so yeah.
And now you're thinking I could be a master electrician by now and
Oh, I
running my
definitely could be. Yeah, I could be at least a journeyman, like at least
Yeah.
at this point. But like it's anyway, dude, the amount of times I got zapped, a lot of them were my own stupidity, but some of them were there were oh my god. There were times where it would be like backfeeding.
Hmm.
The breaker was fucked.
Yeah.
And instead of be backfeeding through that shitty breaker.
Or there was a problem somewhere else in the system, as I found out with my
Oh
shop
yeah.
out here.
Yes. Yes. But
Be-
the thing is like isolating an electrical issue is you have to do it by steps
mhm.
because
S-
if you just but anyway, I was always on the short end of the stick. Like
Yeah.
I I was
You
the
you
one
were the
up
lo-
in
yeah, you were the
yeah.
low man on the totem pole.
And we worked on 120 quite a bit, just like normal whatever. But the most of the things we worked on in that job was 277 and 480.
Hmm.
And it was when you get rocked by that, you get fucking hit hard.
Yeah.
It's
So
yeah.
so funny thing. So a couple of, what was it, 3 years ago now, almost 4 years ago now, when I was building the loft room that I'm going to put my reloading bench in,
Yeah.
whenever I fucking finish it, I ran a sub panel up there from the main breakers in the shop downstairs. It's a 100 amp service out to the shop.
100 amp? Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Nice.
100 amp service out to the
Yeah.
shop, and I ran a sub panel to the loft for the baseboard heat, for the air conditioner, the lights, and the
Yep.
outlets that
Yep.
I
Yep.
have
Yep.
up there.
Yep. 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 Yep.
And
Yep.
and I completely way over engineered it for what's actually there. It's all 12 gauge Romex. Well, not all of it. The 220 stuff going upstairs.
What the fuck do you need 224 up there?
The baseboard, the electric baseboard.
Oh, okay. Yeah. 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 Yep. Yep.
So
Okay. Yep. Yep.
so the 220 line that I ran upstairs is, I think I ran a 50 amp service upstairs. I
Jesus
put a
Christ, dude.
50 amp 220 breaker downstairs, and I ran 8 gauge wire up to the breaker box upstairs.
Jesus Christ. That's
Yeah,
serious.
I fucking over engineered it because I do not want an electrical fire.
Right.
And all of the
But
wiring up there, and my neighbor gave me a spool of 10 gauge wire that I ran from the breaker panel upstairs to the thermostat and then to the baseboard heater. So
yeah.
the 220 baseboard heater is powered by is got what did I think? I think I put a 20 amp breaker, 220 breaker,
Yep. Yep.
and it's got 10 gauge wire going to it. And then
Jesus, yeah.
I got 12 gauge Romex I've got one dedicated circuit just for the air conditioner. I've got one
Mhm.
dedicated circuit just for the lights. And then I've got 16 outlets up there. 8 double gang boxes. 4 on the north
Damn.
end, 4 on the south end. And
Jesus,
there
yeah.
and the 4 double gang boxes on the north end are on one circuit. The 4 double gang boxes on the south end are on another circuit.
Yep.
So, and they all have 12 gauge Romex going to them, because that's what the previous owner put in the whole building was 12 gauge Romex.
And that'll get you places, yeah.
Yeah. Um
8 gauge though, Jesus Christ.
yeah, I ran 8 gauge from the breaker downstairs to the breaker upstairs.
That's fucking insane. It's overkill,
Yeah.
but like
But I did
Jesus
that because I
Christ.
don't want to overload that wire.
Yeah, no, I got that.
Yeah.
You're not gonna overload. 12 gauge is hard to overload.
Yeah.
10 gauge even harder. 8 gauge, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah. And I ran I put another separate topic. I put another sub box in on the other side of the big door, because that was
Yeah.
the only way I could power to the other half of the building
Mhm.
was to put a conduit in underneath the big door opening. And
Oh yeah, okay. Yep, yep, yep.
I ran 8 gauge wire to the sub box on the other side of the big door.
Jesus.
But that other box is going to power the entire rest of the shop, because where the previous owner put the main breaker panel in the shop,
Yeah.
it's isolated by 2 big doors. It's got the main 14-foot tall door right next to it. But if you go around the shop the other way, there's a sliding side door.
Mhm. Yeah.
that you can't get power past without tearing the wall apart.
So you just mitigated that by running the fucking
So
basically
I
yeah.
put a sub box on the other side of the main door with another 50 amp breaker feeding it,
50
and
amp breaker?
yeah, a 50 amp
Jesus.
220 breaker, and the 8 gauge wire going under the main door in the conduit, because all of the rest of the power for the rest of the shop is going to come off of that breaker. And I needed
Okay.
to
Okay.
or
Yeah. Yeah.
I needed to put a box on that side because that's where I put my garage
So
door
that's what you're
opener.
saying. The sub breaker is right there, and that's what you're
Yeah,
talking about. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Yep.
And then when I run outlets and shit on that side of the shop, I'm going to run it all through conduit on the not inside the wall, but on the surface of the wall.
Yeah.
But
Jesus.
anyway, when I was
Go ahead.
wiring up, when I was working on the electrical up in the loft, I don't remember what I was doing, but I was running wires. I think I was running wires for the lights, for the ceiling lights, or I was running wires somewhere, and I touched wires. I was hooking up a neutral.
Yep. There. Yep. Yep.
I was hooking up a neutral, and
Yep.
I had the main breaker for the panel shut off downstairs in the main panel box.
Mm-hmm.
The building still had power,
Yes.
but I had the breaker feeding the upstairs sub
Yep.
box shut off,
Clicked off. Yeah.
and I touched a neutral wire while I was holding a hot wire because I was maneuvering it around
Oh
inside the
no.
box, and I got a
Boom.
buzz. And I
Yeah.
got a buzz. And I'm like, wait, there's not supposed to be any fucking power up here. Why? Hi, Daniel. Why did I just get a buzz? Because there was that lineup there was supposed to be dead.
I've so many times have experienced that. Yes.
Hey, bud.
Yeah.
And
And
so I grab
yeah.
my multimeter and I start tracing. And I'm
Yep.
like, where is this power coming from? It was coming off the neutral. The
Yeah. Well,
neutral
that's
was
the
hot.
thing.
The neutral
That's
was
the thing.
hot.
Yeah. A lot of times that's the experience that I had because I get rocked heavily, and then I'm
Hi.
like, how the fuck is this happening? It's coming off the neutral because there's a bad ground somewhere or there's a bad line in the
Uh-huh.
breaker box or whatever, and it's like,
It
okay, now I
and
have to isolate this.
and then I kind of put it out of my well, it was in the back of my mind for a while because Holly had told me one time when she was doing the garden that she had bent down to pick something up and brace herself against the outside of the shop. Well, the outside of the shop's all steel, and she got a tingle touching the outside of the shop
Ooh,
on the
ooh,
opposite end of the shop
ooh,
from the breaker panel.
not good.
And my neighbor's dog came over one day and was sniffing around the shop, and she touched her nose on the shop and she got a tingle.
Yeah,
And it was just 120 volt because I multimetered it. It was just
yeah, it still
120 volts.
fucking
So
sucks. It's not
yeah,
fun to get zapped.
it's like okay. But when I got that zap on that breaker panel where I knew there shouldn't have been any power, I started looking and I was like, "Fuck, where the hell is this coming from?" And I checked every single circuit in the main breaker panel trying to find where that fucking power was coming from. It was the ceiling lights in the main part of the shop because that was on a three-way switch.
Oh, okay, yeah, yep,
It was on a three-way switch because there's one switch way at the back of the shop by the man door, and then
yep,
there's one
yep.
switch at the front of the shop
And
by
you
the
didn't
man
turn it
door.
all the way off.
No, the ceiling lights were on. I had the ceiling lights on because the shop's kind of a
Oh,
cave.
yeah, I got you. So you didn't have those off, and it was back feeding through the neutral
It,
line to the
it was
yeah,
back feeding,
yep.
but so I turned off the ceiling lights, and all of a sudden, no more 120 volts on the skin of the building.
There you go. Yeah,
And I'm
exactly.
like,
Yep.
okay, now where in this circuit is it coming from? Because I've got one switch here right next to the breaker panel.
And what the
The other
hell is making
switch,
the whole thing hot? Yeah,
the other switch is 55 feet away on the other end of the shop. And then the ceiling lights are 16 feet up
yep,
in the ceiling, obviously. And there's four of them. So where the fuck is this coming from?
yep. That
And
was the
so
story of my life for many years. Yeah.
what I found out was that when the previous owner built the shop, they ran the wires before they put the outside skin of the building on.
Oh, so it cut into it.
And so when they put the outside skin of the building on, it pinched the neutral wire going up to the ceiling lights.
Yep.
Between
There you go.
the frame of the building and the
Yep.
skin of the building. And it must have pinched hard enough to break all the way through the Romex insulation.
And then it was getting the neutral constantly feeding through there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that resulted in me having to borrow a 25-foot extension ladder from my neighbor who has a machine shop and spend about 3 hours on a Sunday afternoon crawling around in the attic of the shop 16 feet above the floor wearing full Gore-Tex and a respirator and goggles.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect when I went up there.
Yeah. It's
okay, this building is I don't know how many years old. I know it has mice in it because I see the mouse droppings everywhere. I'm going up into a fucking hole 16 feet in the air. I don't know what's up there.
Right. No, I get that. But yes, that's what it was. Is like it pinched it.
I had to rerun the Romex from the switch all the way up and to the first light fixture because all of the light fixtures are daisy chained.
And then problem solved.
Yeah, and then problem solved.
Yep.
I went through a lot of Romex that summer.
Yeah, that brings you back. Like the fucking getting rocked.
I fucking hate electricity.
I do too. I did the job for. I hate heights too. I cannot stand on a ladder.
Nope,
whatever.
Neither can
I.
I.
It's like
I can be on a ladder. I can be on a ladder if I have something to do at the top of the ladder. Like that's the only way that I can be up higher than about 6 feet off the ground is if I have something to do.
You just kind of like put your mind on something else, but like it's still. I'm always just fucking sweating spinal fluid going up there, you know.
Yep. And I only had about a 4-foot high crawl space in the middle of the attic.
Yeah, so you're hyperventilating and you're wearing a fucking respirator and you're like,
yep. It's fucking and it was afternoon in the summertime and it's a steel fucking roof.
Some of the funny things that happen, like getting rocked by voltage, is what we did a lot of car dealerships, right? And so they've got garages where they repair shit and everything, right? And so we would just back the truck in to the garages and like they would all know that we were there and everything. And one of these times their lights were like almost all out on one side of the garage. And we're like,
is it the lights that are out or is there an electrical problem?
Well, so that's exactly what I was just going to say. Is like, okay, organize. So I, unscrew the fucking or undo the fluorescent lights, pop them back in, nothing happens. And then we go, okay, look at the ballast, smell it. No, it's not fried. And so on the last fucking fixture that I'm doing this on, mind you, this is 277. So this is cooking with gas. I go to cut the fucking wire. The fucking thing blows up in my face. And I get rocked because my wire strippers that I was using, I barely slipped my pinky onto the fucking metal part of it, right? Off the grip. And I got rocked hard. And I'm like, and I went, fuck! Like, just a natural reaction.
Mm-hmm.
All the mechanics look at me. They're like, you okay, Sparky? And I'm like, I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm all right. Yeah. They're like, you okay? Like, you good? I'm like, oh,
I will be.
Fuck. And then so now I have to I just got rocked by 277 volts. It sucks. All these guys are looking at me now. I'm embarrassed. I'm like, God damn it. And that was an all-day project. We eventually had a bad fucking neutral, right? So we isolated that
somewhere, wasn't it?
Yep, it was. It was like you said. It was cut into some sheet metal. Over the years, it had kind of deteriorated, like the coating on it, and it was in the fixture itself. And so what had happened was I did the pinky thing on the wire strippers, but I always would like hold the fixture up, which is a dumb habit, and I would hold the fixture up to like be able to cut the wire and do the ballast work, right? Well, the neutral, when I fucking made contact with the primary, I fucking completed the circuit through me, through that fixture and everything, and it was like, and it fucking hurt.
Yeah.
And I was like, God damn it. And then so anyway, we got that shit, but that was a whole day. But then their lights were on again. And they were all
Yeah.
like, woo, woo, you guys are awesome. Like, yeah, hey Sparky, you still feeling all right? I'm like, I'm good to go. I'm fine. Like,
It's a regular occurrence.
yeah.
I'm used to it. I don't
Yeah,
like
it
it,
was
but I'm
just
used to it.
oh yeah, it just there's a lot of those things where,
Kisses
you know,
from the angry pixies.
yeah, kisses from the angry pixies. Yes. That's about what it is, but those kisses do not feel good. 277 fucking that gets you to like you're starting to lose control of your body. 480 is fucked. I mean, you're done at that point.
Yeah.
And it's
And
like,
my brother's an electrical engineer. Like that's what he went to school for after the Air Force.
oh, good for him. He figured out the ways that I got destroyed because people don't give a shit about how they wire things.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I ran. That's what I've been running into with this whole property since I bought it in 2019.
Just shitty wire. It's like shitty
It's
wiring that's lazy.
everything the previous owner did in this place. He half-assed every
That's
fucking
the
thing.
thing. With electrical shit, you cannot half-ass it. Like spend the extra few minutes. It's not that long. Dude,
That's why I ran 8 gauge upstairs.
that's excessive in my opinion, but okay, I get why you did it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna not gonna
I can't get to that wire anymore. I got to tear apart 3 walls to get to that wire now.
no, but 8 gauge is like that's fucking that's fucking huge. But anyway,
Yeah.
I don't blame you for it. I don't fault you. I'll give you a little bit of shit just for the
I did
idea
8
of it.
gauge braided instead of 8 gauge solid.
Okay, cute, but still, yeah. But no, that oh my god, that shit fucking. Hold on for a second. Chris just or Jonesy just texted me. All right, he won't be on tonight, most likely.
That's fine.
But yeah, that dude, I don't regret anything that I've done, as far as that shit, like work or anything, because now I know what it feels like to be rocked by that shit,
Yeah.
and it's not fun at all. It's
I've
like,
never been rocked by anything more than 120, and I don't
oh,
want to.
dude, 120
Is nothing.
tingles.
Yeah.
It tingles, and it's
Yeah.
not fun. 277, yeah, you feel it. I didn't get the full 480, but I got the fucking what was left in the cap.
Hmm.
Holy shit. It was just straight
I,
up pain.
I don't let my dad anywhere near me or my work site when I'm working on electrical stuff because he has this habit of turning breakers on while I'm holding bare wires
That oh my god, that
on
happened to me one
purpose.
time. Dude, I was at a gas station, right? Near where I live, and we're on the canopy, right? And I'm going over trying to consult an electrical problem, right? And I'm consolidating because like half their lights wouldn't work, half their whatever. So I'm on the canopy and it's like spring, so it's kind of damp. And my boss went in there and I went in there and we said, turn the breakers off, do not touch them unless we tell you to. Okay, fine.
And of course, on a breaker panel like that, it doesn't have lockout takeout.
No, it's just manual. Like it's
Yeah.
anybody can fuck it. So I'm up there working. It's again 277. Good stuff. And I'm up there trying to isolate, and I'm working on a ballast that was fried completely, and I'm trying to like cut the wire to the point where I can actually have wire to like put the new ballast, connected to. It was just completely everything was fried. It blew up, and so I'm sitting there, and I was talking down to my boss from the top of the canopy. I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna need this, this, and this, and this, and this. These little like I need wire nuts. I need this. I need fucking what the hell was the thing? I can't remember. It's been a while, but like I needed something. And so that idiot inside the gas station took that as, oh, they want the power on. So he throws me up the things. I get them. I go back and there's supposed to be no power because there wasn't any power.
Hmm.
I just disconnected it. My dumbass grabs the wire that's completely like the coating is like crumbling off of it, right? That's how shitty it was because it blew up.
Yep.
And so I just grabbed that wire. I'm gonna cap it, right? Or the wire nut. Well, I grabbed the wire and I went for a fucking ride, my friend. I went for a fucking ride. And
Right.
I could not get my hand off of that. And I just threw my body back and I fell down. And then my boss is like, "You okay? What happened?" And I was like, "Who the fuck turned the power back on?" He goes, "What?" And he goes like, "Oh my God." And he ran in the gas station. He goes, and I just saw him inside, like from the glass, like, "You dumb motherfucker." just he was screaming. I was like, "Turn the fucking thing off right now. I've got a guy up there. We told you to not," he's screaming at him. And I'm just like, "Ow." All right, I can start to feel my hand again. All right, it's not numb anymore. And then he comes out, he goes, "Power's off." And I took my idiot stick out, the little voltmeter.
Yep.
It's not the actual meter, but
Yeah,
like it's
I know
the
what you're talking about.
the idiot stick is what we
Yeah,
called it.
the
And I just
circuit
went,
tester.
"Yep." I went and nothing, and I'm like, "Okay." All right, and I capped the wire and I rectified the whole thing, but like that was the one thing where he just turned the power on and we were like, "Dude, the power needs to be off until we tell you," which is what we fucking told you. And he's like, "My guy just got fucking zapped up there." And then, so I go in there at the end, right? Long story short. And he goes, "Were you the guy up there that got zapped?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "I am so sorry." I said, "Hey, just don't mess with the power unless we instruct you to. Or whoever is here, do not ever mess with the power. If we need it on, we will tell you."
Yeah. You will
And
know
he's like,
we are
"Okay."
telling you.
Yeah. And I'm like, "Unless we tell you explicitly, turn the power on, do not do that." He's like, "Okay, got it." And hopefully, I mean, because yeah, that was a whole fucking day. It was supposed to be like a 2-hour job. And it ended up being an all day job. And it was just like, Jesus Christ. Because like that was one of those things where we opened up the panel and he just threw the breaker, but we opened up the panel itself, like the little shield in there, and it was fried. And we're like, "God damn it. Just one thing after another today." And but yeah, I got rocked by 277, and that really does not feel good.
Did you did you ever play with Wago connectors? Have you ever even heard of Wago connectors?
What are they?
I'm sharing a.
Oh, sorry.
They are fucking awesome.
Not really. We usually use just wire nuts.
Yeah, these are a good replacement for wire nuts. These are fucking awesome.
And I used them a couple times on a couple jobs that were more meticulous, but especially in boxes, like in breaker
Yep.
boxes.
Or,
But
junction boxes where you've got way too many
junction
wires
boxes,
coming.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was looking for. Yep. We would
Yep.
use those occasionally, but usually it was just wire nuts. And
Uh, I've
oh
I've I picked up some of these for because so when I was putting in some of the outlets for upstairs, I've got each outlet in the double gang box has its own 12 gauge Romex going to it. I didn't jump the boxes or jump
mhm,
the outlets one to the other. So all of the wires going up there are all 12 gauge Romex, and they're all coming together in a junction box under the floor. Well, it's
yeah,
actually in the ceiling down of the downstairs floor of the upstairs,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
they're all coming together in a junction box. And there's 5 strands of Romex going in, 12 gauge Romex going into these fucking junction boxes. There's
yep.
the one coming from the breaker panel, and then there's the 4 going out to the outlets. And working with 12 gauge solid wire Romex in a fucking junction box in a ceiling is not exactly fun. And
It's a lot of work, yeah.
they don't make wire nuts big enough for 5 strands of Romex of 12 gauge.
5?
5.
Oh, yeah, they don't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can do 4
barely.
barely, but you can't do 5.
No, you're fucked. Yeah,
So I had to buy Wago connectors to actually get those junction boxes to cooperate the way I wanted to before I put the drywall on them, before I put the
yeah,
insulation and drywall up,
yeah. That makes
because
sense. Yeah,
those junction boxes are buried under drywall now. I can't get to them.
yeah.
So I bought Wago 5 gang or 5 position Wago connectors in there and then closed them up. It's like I'm never using wire nuts again after using Wagos. They're so easy to
Yeah.
use.
Yeah, I know. And so are wire nuts, but it's I don't know,
Wire
the guy
nuts are
that
faster.
the guy that I learned from, he was old school, like
Yeah.
very old school, and there were there were certain jobs where we had to use those. I didn't know what they
Yep.
were called, but there were certain jobs where we had to use them, but it was very few. Like most of it was just wire nuts and
Yep.
different size wire. Yeah, I forgot the size of them and all that shit because we just went by color code, like orange are like the typical whatever usual size. Blue are the smaller ones. Black are the even smaller ones. And then you get the yellow ones that are fucking big. That's how we went. Like by like I need this many wire nuts, or I usually have them in my pouch on my work belt. But yeah, it was just like. And here's the thing: is I did thousands of jobs, and most of the time it was just go up there, replace whatever the fuck wire nuts. But there was a few times that I got zapped, and I will remember them because it was fucking ouch.
Yeah. But yeah, after using Wagos, I'm never using wire nuts again. Fuck that. I bought a whole bin of them off of Amazon. And I wish I would have had them before I put together the walls upstairs, because I would have used them on all the walls. I sent you a message on private
Yeah, I
chat.
know. I'm
Okay.
watching. So
Okay.
yep. Um, yeah. I mean yeah. It was a
Oh,
fun learning
Br-
experience because now I know how to
Brendan,
wire shit.
that is not a good thing. I'm sorry. That's nothing to be
Hey
proud of.
Caleb, stop acting like you're fucking 12 or you're done. How about that? Let's just fucking get that out there now. You got your attention, whatever. You stop acting like you're fucking 12.
Yeah,
We're
Brendan,
done.
that's not something to be proud of. Popping breakers with your bare hands and not feel it. Ugh.
A lot of those old electricians, like they just didn't give a fuck, and the fallout of like dealing with that kind of shit of like,
Yeah,
well,
it
whatever,
kills the nerves in your fingers.
in your body, yeah, like getting rocked is it's fucking insane, and but yeah, I mean, working on
I honestly didn't. I never knew that you were an electrician.
yeah, I did it for let's see,
That must have been right after we got back from Iraq.
4 years, yeah, I did it for 4 years, yeah, it was 2011 to about 2015,
Okay.
and the guy I bought my house from. I knew him. He's a old friend of mine in high school's dad, and we had been friends, everything. And then I was having a hard time working at other places. Dude. I worked at a fucking lampshade factory. I made lampshades for
Hmm.
almost a year, or no, it was about 6 months. Yeah, because it
I
was
did after we got back. I did hydraulic pressure testing in a factory.
yeah. I mean, you do weird things, and it's like okay, it's a job, it pays,
I
but
got fired the Wednesday before Christmas.
I was about to get fired, and that's why when this guy offered me this job, I was like, "All right." I put in my 2 weeks. They're like, "You don't got to show up. You're good. You fulfilled your thing." I'm like, "Cool," because this guy came out at the lampshade factory. There was this guy there that was just a fucking piece of shit, right? He's a fucking asshole. But he had been there since
As they generally are at factories.
but he had been there since the company kind of like got going, and
That
we
doesn't
made good
surprise me.
quality lampshades. Like now that I know how they're made, I respect the hell. Whenever I see a lampshade, I go, "Oh, that was made very well," or I go, "Oh, that was made like shit." Like that's probably an effect. Nah, that wasn't made by hand. And it's weird. It's a weird little job that I did that I can like be able to tell things. And anyway, this guy he would do the whole like jump scare thing to employees, and I was in no fucking mood for that. Especially, yeah, because that was 2010, so that was like right
Right
when we
after we
got
got
back.
yeah. Yeah.
And I'm just like,
It,
yeah, I'm not in the mood for that. All of a
yeah, and
sudden, there,
your brain is still in deployment mode at that
yeah,
point.
exactly. And I one day I was walking to the bathroom. I was just going to take a piss or something relaxing, and I was kind of like good to go. And he comes and he does a jump scare thing, and I wound up
Please tell
like
me you
this.
rocked him in the face.
No, I wound up like this, and I was about to, and then I was like, nope, don't want to go to jail, and I hit the fucking wall, next to him,
Hmm.
and it went through the wall, damaged the property, so they had to get that fixed. And I went, don't ever fucking do that again. And he goes, okay, whatever. And then he made fun of me for reacting like that. He kept making fun of me. And I was like, I'm going to fucking kill this guy. That, I obviously, if you're listening to this on a stream, like that was my mentality at the time. This is
Hmm.
2010.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, this guy's a
I had
fucking.
the same fucking mentality that in 2010. So
And
it's
so
not
I went and took a
unique.
piss and whatever and came back. And then they're like, well, that's not acceptable. We can't be doing that. And I'm like, well, then tell him to stop doing that. So he laid off of me for a few months. And then shortly thereafter, the guy who was an electrician gave me the job offer. He's like, I need help. I'm in over my head. It's just me. Would you be willing to do this? And I'm like, I'll learn anything. Just get me the fuck out of here. And so that's when I put in my 2 weeks, and they're like, yeah, you're good to go. Like, hey, you done well here. Thank you. If you ever need a letter of recommendation, we're good to go. I'm like, perfect, thanks. And so I didn't have to fulfill that. So I just started working for him immediately. And then it was like the next 4 years of just learning a lot about different electrical shit. I still don't know how the fuck it works.
Magic pixies.
Yeah, but I have a concept of how I can wire things safely.
Yeah.
Like I have a concept and I can do that now. It was a skill that I never thought I would learn, and I did that.
Yeah,
And
it's a good skill to have.
yeah, and it's very interesting. But yeah, 3-phase 480 is
And
really scary.
it's not difficult. How do I phrase it? It's not difficult to assemble an electrical system so that it works.
As
It,
long as
it's
all the
it,
actual the like main tech in the device that you're hooking up is correct.
yeah, yeah. But like if you're wiring up a house or if you're wiring up a building, it's not
Right.
difficult.
It's you have to pay attention. That's what I would say
Yeah,
is you have to pay
you have to pay
attention.
attention. You
Yeah.
have to be very deliberate. You have to be very
Yeah.
I just went blank on the word I was looking for. But it's not difficult. It's tedious.
Yeah, exactly. It's tedious. It's very tedious. And here's the thing though, is once you do it right, it's
You
good
never have
for a
to touch
long
it again.
time. It's good
Yeah.
for a very long time.
Yeah,
You know?
if and when I actually get to build my house, so the house that I want to build, I know it's going to cost me a lot more from the electrician to do it this way.
Right.
But what I want to do is for every room in the house, I want there to be a separate circuit for outlets from the ceiling lights.
Yes. Yeah, I
Because
agree. Yeah.
one of my buttons, and this is one thing that I learned because my dad was a handyman the whole basically most of the time I was growing up, so I helped him a lot with just home improvement
Yeah.
type tasks. One of the biggest buttons that I always had is when we had to install new outlets or run new wires or do anything with the electrical in a room is the lights and the outlets were always tied into the same fucking circuit.
It doesn't make
So
any
you had
sense.
so you shut the power off to that room, and now all of a sudden you got to run a fucking extension cord and use a work light in the room that you're working in. It's like
Yep.
there's a fucking ceiling light right there. Why can't I turn the ceiling? I'm not touching the ceiling light.
Right.
So if and when I ever build my own house, I'm going to tell the electrician, I know it's going to cost more money to do it this way. I want
But
the
it's worth
light.
it.
I want every room to have at minimum 2 circuits.
Yep.
Every room. I want
Yeah.
every room to have its own independent ceiling light circuit and its own independent outlet circuit.
Yeah, 100%. Because yeah, I mean, that's the thing
And
is like
and some and
people
something like
are
the and
they always
something
take
like
it for
sorry.
granted though. No,
Yeah.
it's all good. They take it for granted like everybody's hopefully in a house right now who's watching, right? They take for granted like how intricate everything and how thought out it is, like
Hmm.
whatever. And it's just like it's there, it works. I flip a switch, it's on. But like engineering all that shit and like actually putting it in and like figuring out, what goes where, what's on what breaker, what's on what circuit, um, it's really intricate, and that's everything. Plumbing. I mean,
Yeah.
my God,
Yeah.
holy
But
shit.
like but like the electrical stuff, a lot of people don't seem to realize that when a house is built, they're generally doing it to cost the least amount of money possible.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so what they do is they run the power from the breaker panel up into the ceiling. And they
Yep.
run the wire across the attic to wherever the ceiling light it has to be in a room, and they branch out from there to all of the outlets for that room
Yep.
from the ceiling light.
If people could actually see like a wireframe version of their house that showed the wires and everything like going around and what's actually going where,
Hmm.
a lot of people would be like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, and a lot of the times bedrooms are paired together. You'll
Yeah,
have
oh, exactly.
like my two sons' bedrooms. Those two rooms are on the same circuit. The lights
Oh.
and the outlets in
Mm,
both of those rooms are on the same circuit.
yeah.
And it's like, I don't like that.
No, it's not good. It's like again, it goes back to the isolating the issue if there is an
Yeah,
issue.
yeah,
And so it's just it's yeah. I mean, again, it's good to know about these little things. Again, like you said, you're going to hire somebody to do it because you and I don't have the skills to do it ourselves to wire an entire house. We do know, however, like you just said, put the ceiling fans and all this shit on a different circuit. An
yeah,
electrician will be like, okay, I can do that easy,
yeah.
you
That's
know.
easy.
And it's like, okay, because that's what they do is they build houses. Like my job was way different than building houses and like wiring houses, but I
Yeah, you were
could
doing
do it.
commercial stuff,
Yeah, a lot of commercial stuff, and
commercial industrial.
exactly, and but I could do it. It would just again, it would take me for fucking ever because I'd have to go back and like do research again and be like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, yep, we're good.
Yep.
But it would take me for
You got
fucking
to find the
ever.
wiring diagram for the building.
Yep, yep, the right gauge wire, the fucking right kind of wire, the
Yep.
conduit. In
What
a lot
size
of
circuit
places.
to use?
Yep.
What size
The
breaker to use? I mean,
yeah, break. Yeah, I kind of use them interchangeably, even though they're very different. But yeah, I
yeah,
always circuit breaker they
yeah.
call it. So we're half right. But
It-
yeah, it's
Did
just like
did
go
you
ahead.
ever get to play around with the light bulb fuses?
The what?
The fuses that they look like the base of a light bulb, the screw base of a light bulb. It's fucking old school, like 1930s old school. I lived in a couple of houses that had the screw in fuses, not breakers.
Oh no, I don't think I've ever fucked
Yeah.
around with those. Yeah.
Yep. I lived in a couple of houses and had to help my dad with wiring in a couple of houses like that where the fuse, it had a fuse panel, not a breaker panel, and
Yeah.
they had the fuses that they literally look like a light bulb. Oh,
Yeah. A little.
like they
Yeah. They're straight. They're kind of
Yep.
like this.
And they
Shaped
got
like
a
a dick.
flat
Yeah.
top,
Yep.
and then they got a glass window in it so you can actually see the
Yep.
fused element.
I know what you're talking about. I've just never
Yep.
fucked around with them.
Yeah.
So
I have. Those are not fun.
those are terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that sounds just absolutely terrifying.
Yep. And generally speaking, if you have a fuse panel that still uses those, you also have cloth wrapped wires.
Yes, which actually, to be fair, are way better
Yeah.
than the insulation they use now.
Yeah. But the cloth was also flammable ish.
Well, most of the cloth that I encountered was asbestos. So,
Yeah, that's kind of a negative too.
well, right, it's a trade-off. It's a trade-off.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
okay, whatever. Like,
Asbestos really is one of those, if you research it, asbestos is really one of those miracle materials that they found.
it is. It is. It's just you don't want to breathe it in,
You don't want it anywhere near you.
except when it's insulating a lot of heat.
Yeah. Like the
Because
asbestos gloves that they gave us for the M2s.
hey, I used them and they worked fucking great. A white hot barrel, changing that fucking bitch.
Yep.
I really wish I still had my hard drive, dude. I really do because I lost about I don't know 75% of my photos and videos from Iraq.
Do
And
you still have the physical drive?
no, that's the
Oh,
problem.
okay.
I don't, and I don't know where the fuck it is. It got lost. I have a lot of my pictures and everything, but it's about
Mhm.
25% of them. Um, I had videos. I don't know if I told you this. Maybe I did.
I've seen them. The videos from McGregor the night shoot at McGregor with the M2s.
You saw those?
Yeah, I've seen them.
Where did you see them?
They might not have been your videos, but there was more than one person taking video of it.
Okay, yeah, because I know I took or no, Dan took a video of me doing the barrel change because the pogues that were running the
No,
range.
I didn't see that. I didn't see the
It
barrel change.
because he was sitting there with my camera. I said because I always have my camera in my pouch on my IOTV, right?
Hmm.
And I said, hey Dan, it's good to go. I'm like, because we were sitting there, we're like, I just want to go home. I just want to go back to the barracks and sleep. And these fucking pogues, they couldn't. They're like, oh, the barrel's like really hot and everything. And so I just marched up there as an E3, and I go, all right, can I just fucking take this over? They're like, do you know how to do this? I'm like, yes. And so I'm like, give me that fucking glove. All right. And I just unscrewed the barrel. I set it down on the pad. I said, give me the new barrel. They're like, okay. I fucking guided it in, didn't fuck up the threads, and went backed it off 2 clicks. I said, we are good to go. Any other questions? And he got that all on film because his little commentary that I didn't realize he said is as soon as I started walking up there, he goes, how many pogues does it change to, or how many pogues does it take to change a 50 cal barrel? And then I go up there and it's done and we're
Yeah.
good to go.
Yeah.
And it's like
more pogues than they actually had.
right. And it was great. And then yeah, he had videos of me shooting the Modus on that range, and vice versa. I had videos of him. And we were all just sitting there, doing the bursts. Just fucking go through our belt. We're done, good to go. Open it up, clear it, good to go.
Have you seen the video that it was floating around a few weeks ago of the German soldier who was shooting an
Yeah.
M2?
Oh yeah. I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it. It's an old one where he's just doing the whole pussy thing like 1 or 2
Yeah.
rounds.
Just
Hey,
boom, boom.
it's a machine gun.
Did you see the T&E on it? How it wasn't even fucking attached to the tripod?
It doesn't need to be, but yeah.
Well, the way the guy was shooting it, he wasn't going to hit the house from the inside.
No, but here's the thing: is when he started doing the bursts, like the long bursts,
Mm-hmm.
he was probably going to hit his target.
Yeah.
Like that's the difference. Is like you're sitting there going,
well, he was, yeah, he was like, he wasn't even looking down the sights though. He was just sitting up, like, oh.
You don't need to look down the sights. Here's the thing: when you fire in a burst,
tracers.
2 or 3 of those fuckers are going to be tracers. Then you can gauge your fire and you can adjust. Yeah. That's how a 50 cal works. The sights, honestly, from what you and I have used, what do you think about this? I'm going to say something. The sights are for the initial contact. If you have the upper hand, you go,
yeah,
that's where the very first round's going to land, and then we're just going to fucking rock and roll.
I actually use the sights to nail the 1,500-yard target at McGregor.
Do you know how I nailed the 1,500?
You walked the fire in?
No, you're gonna shit your fucking pants. I don't think I've ever actually told you this. This is fun. So at McGregor, remember it was like, yeah, it went out to I think 2,000, right?
Yeah.
And there was one of those
1,500 was the maximum for 50 cal qual.
But I think they had targets at 2. I could be mistaken. It was a long time ago, but
yeah.
So it might have been 1,500. But anyway, it was a long ways out there. 1,500 yards is a fucking long ways out there. But it was a flat range. And then the mountains were in the background.
Yeah.
And so what I did is
in the 1,500-yard target, I think it had 3 E-type silhouettes that popped up.
Yeah, that's it was a cluster. And so this moto guy, this former, he's now a contractor. He's wearing an EGA, so he's a Marine. He comes up to me, he goes, all right, do you know how to use this? I said, yes, sir, I know how to use this. And then Dan was loading the rounds for me and we were working together, blah, blah, blah. Bam, close the feed tray cover. I went, all right. He goes, all right. And I was like, how many targets do I need to hit to qualify expert? And he goes, 9. And I went, all right. And so I leaned way back.
Yep.
And I just went, wasn't using the sights. I just kind of lined the whole fucking weapon up, right?
Yep.
With the kind of like, I don't know if it was 200 or 400 yards, and I just went 5 to 7 rounds, and they skipped perfectly. They went through that first, and then you could see them go, and they hit the second fucking round. All those went down, and then they went to the last round, and one target went down. And he's looking through his binoculars and he goes, I said, "Did I get it, sir?" And he goes, yeah, you got it. Fire at will. I don't give a shit. You got it. Like, you're good to go." And I was like,
Yeah,
all right. So
it,
I just had fun after that, and it's like,
yeah,
and that was the qual. That was my first 50 cal qual, and
yep,
it just fucking yeah.
yeah. And when I qualled, believe it or not, when I qualled with the M249, when I qualled with the 240, when I qualled with the Mark 19 and the 50 cal,
Yep.
I actually used the fucking ladder sight the way you're supposed to use the fucking ladder
Well,
sight, and
that's
you
what we
adjust
talked
it for
about. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you
Yep.
adjust it for the fucking range. And I was nailing every fucking target with the first fucking round of the burst.
Yeah.
Like
And
the
yeah.
50 cal at McGregor, I was leaned back and I
Yep. That's
actually,
what I did too. I just
I
because you're
adjusted
supposed to be up here.
the
You're
yeah,
supposed to be up here on the 50 is according to the fucking TO&E shit. Like, but
but
I just went
you have to lean back and you have to pull up on it, otherwise you're not going to be able to control the recoil.
exactly. Yep.
You
And
need to
then
add
also
your
you're
own body you need to add your own body mass to the gun to
exactly.
control the recoil.
It is also once you learn how to control that recoil on the fucking Mod Deuce, literally the only gun that ever gave me a fucking semi.
Hmm.
Oh
But
god, that thing's beautiful.
no, I set the ladder sight to 1,500 yards before I even, I had my spotter next to me, my A gunner with the binoculars. I had
Yep.
the observer for the qual
Yep.
watching, and so I adjusted the sight and I leaned back as soon as the 1,500-yard target popped up, and I just went boom, 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 and then half a second later you see 3 targets fall down in the distance.
Yeah.
And that's the way it was. Every fucking target that popped up, I'd get the range. I'd set the range on the sight, on the rear sight. Boom, boom, boom.
Down. Yep.
Yep.
And
And it
honestly,
was
like, yeah,
and it
I
was
wasn't I
and
wasn't trying to do what I did, like skipping them. It
hmm
just happened that way,
yep.
and that's why he was probably just more surprised than I was because I'm like, he goes, "You're good, man." I'm like, and Dan
Have
was even
fun.
looking at me. He's like, "The fuck did you?" I'm like, it was one of those miracle things that just happened because they went, and I was like, "Oh shit!" He's like, "All right, fire at will, have fun."
Yeah, and the funny thing is, on the Mark 19, when you're qualling on that, the farthest target's 1,000 meters,
Hmm.
and when you set the ladder sight for 1,000 meters,
Yep.
you flip it up and you set it for a
Yep.
1,000 meters, and then you adjust the T&E
Yeah.
so that way you're actually looking through the sights and down
Yes.
the front
And it's
sight
right
blade.
there.
Well, no, because when you look down the front, when you have the ladder sight set to 1,000 meters and you're looking down the sight blade through the rear notch, the barrel's in the way. You're looking
Oh
through
yeah,
the
because it's
barrel.
arced. It's
Yeah.
arced. Yeah.
And so you're down here, you're getting it lined up, then you're popping up and down and up.
So you
Oh,
you have to trust it, kind of. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to judge where the horizontal of the ladder sight is
Hmm.
for for leveling with the target,
Yeah.
and then you have to pop up and you have to make sure that the front sight blade is in line with the left and
Yep.
right,
Yep. Yep.
and then it's thump, thump, thump. And
Yep.
the Mark 19 is the only weapon I've ever fired where the recoil impulse is less than the mass of the bolt closing. So the weapon
Th-
actually jumps forward when you fire it.
yeah, that was a fucking weird weapon. I never felt comfortable shooting that thing.
Oh, I loved it. I never had any
A
problem
lot of
with that
guys
thing.
did, and I was like, hey, more power to you. You can have
That
it.
that gave me almost as much as a hard on as the M2.
Yeah, the Mark 19, it just scared me, like, for the user base,
Yeah.
and like I'm like, yeah, this thing, it's a death dealing fucking machine. I get that, but
And
yeah.
the fun thing about the qual rounds, because like the 203 has got the chalk rounds.
Hmm.
The Mark 19 doesn't use chalk rounds because it has too much firing
Yeah,
force,
it'll
too much
break them.
muzzle
Yeah.
velocity.
Yep.
It would just shatter. The chalk rounds would just shatter in the barrel. They actually they actually use like a small flash round.
Yeah.
It's
Hmm.
almost like a small flashbang. So when it actually hits the target, it doesn't have the fragmentation effect, but
No, but it's got the sound. Yeah.
there's still a charge and a flash.
Yep.
So you see the flash, and then a half a second later, you hear the pop. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just a pop. It's like a flashbang going off down there, just poof. So you're poof, poof, poof,
Yep.
poof, 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 poof,
Yep.
poof, poof.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing. Like
I
it
love the
was
Mark
cool
19.
getting paid to shoot those fucking things.
God, I wish I could do it. I wish I could do that again. I don't know if I would want to put up with the bullshit of the infantry again just to shoot those guns, but
Right.
like if the armory were to have an open field day at Fort McCoy where you could come down and pay a couple $100 to shoot automatic weapons, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Because I mean, especially the 240 Bravo, that was my baby. Yours was a saw, but like mine's a 240, and it's like
I have a lot of respect for the 240. That's one thing that a lot of people don't quite seem to comprehend, is because I'm always talking about how the M60 is better for dismounted operations.
right.
But that's the only place that the 60 is better.
The 240 is an all around, all things
It is
considered, better machine gun.
yeah. From a mechanical standpoint alone, it's a better machine gun. It's
Dude, I
much
never had
simpler.
a malfunction on a
No,
240. And
I
I
love
put
the
in my time, I probably
thousands.
put about, I don't know, 2 or 3 million rounds through them. I'm not exaggerating either, like, because you know how much fucking rounds we shoot.
Yeah,
And I probably put about that many through when I was in, and I never had a malfunction.
yeah. I absolutely love the 240. It's a fantastic machine gun.
Yep. And it
But
fucking,
but
yeah.
it's not one that you want to carry dismounted.
You don't want to carry dismounted. Yeah. Light infantry, not your thing.
No,
But anything mounted or it's just,
anything mounted or mechanized, go for
well,
it.
and that's what like Jonesy was saying when he was at Camdesh, when he was at that battle, is he had the Mark 48, which is like a
Yep,
saw and a
it's
240. Yeah.
it's a 7.62 saw.
And he loved that fucking thing. He
Yeah,
swears by that thing.
yep.
And yeah, he loves that thing.
It
And
it's
yeah,
actually the development story that's really fucking cool. I absolutely love I never got to play with a Mark 48, but it is
yeah.
probably one of my favorite machine guns that I've never gotten to play with.
And I could see why, because it literally is, it was made for dismounted infantry.
Yep.
And it's like you've got a 60, but better.
Yeah.
That's ergonomically a lot better. And yeah,
Yep.
Jonesy, he says that
And
thing was his
lighter.
baby. Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah, and
Yep.
lighter than the 60.
And still it lays down that 7.62 accurately.
And the only real detriment to the Mark 48 is the barrel life.
Right, but again,
it was designed knowing that these barrels are not going to last like they do on the 240 or the 60.
right, but even again,
But yeah, we're still talking about the U.S. military industrial complex where they spend hundreds of thousands of dollars every year on shit that nobody
as an
uses.
infantryman, give me a fucking medium machine gun, all right, that I can carry as I'm walking.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit if I have to change barrels. That's what my AG is for.
Yeah,
I'll
he's the
carry a
one
spare
carrying the
barrel.
fucking barrel. I don't care.
My AG is going to have 2 or 3, plus a little bit of ammo, and then my ammo bearer is going to have more ammo.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about barrels if it works. It's light, and it fucking lays down rounds.
I can shoulder fire it like a fucking rifle.
Exactly. Who gives a
not
fuck?
like the 240.
Yeah. Oh my god, I tried to fire. I tried to shoulder fire the 240 so many times. Even when you're in really good shape, not great, not great. And that's the thing is, like, again, they just needed to find the happy medium. And I think that again, I've never handled the Mark 48, never. And Jonesy hasn't.
It's basically
he fucking
a saw.
I know, but like
it's
Jonesy
the same size
swears
as a saw.
by it, and if he swears by it, I'm like, okay, well then I would probably fucking have the same reaction. Like,
yep,
because
it's the same size as the saw. I think it even uses the same receiver as the saw.
I think it might be bigger or more beefy, but
I think it's beefier. But it's basically a saw that's been hopped up to 7.62.
Right, and here's the thing: is you can handle the fucking recoil.
Mm-hmm.
Just like on a 60, you can handle a recoil, and whatever. It's like all you need is a fucking medium machine gun in 7.62 for the infantry squad. And
Scuttlebutt's here.
Yeah, fucking Nate Jonesy. Jonesy's a fucking retard. Like, let's be honest here. He's from Eastern Tennessee. He's a fucking caveman, redneck pile of shit, and he should have been on here tonight. But he's too busy doing stupid shit like spending time with his family. So, I mean,
Ah,
who does that?
not me.
But yeah, no, but that's all I ask for in a machine gun like that. I would have loved if that would have been like the standard issue for infantry companies,
Yeah.
because the
There's a
saw,
there's a
yes,
lot of shit. There's a lot of shit that's in inventory that the military has in inventory that would be far better to issue to the average grunt
yep.
than what they're fucking issuing to the average grunt. Don't even get me started on the M17 and that fucking boondoggle. The new fucking pistol
Well,
with the
here's the thing. Here's the thing is,
interchangeable frames that they're
well,
never
no,
gonna fucking issue.
right for sure, but like, because that's the thing is, I bought a different frame for my P320 when I got it. I had to get a small grip. For
Yeah,
whatever reason, I got big hands, but I like small grips on pistols. Right?
yeah,
It's a personal preference thing. I got that. I'm actually quite proficient with my 320, right? Not bragging, not trying to say any of that shit, but like I can hit my target very well
yeah,
with that small grip and the thing. Now, it's kind of like the M9 thing is like that grip for a lot of people is way too big.
yeah.
And
I
it's
didn't
like,
have an issue with it.
no, but for a lot of people it's too big
Yeah, it's
or,
a big.
whatever.
The M9's a big gun.
It's a big frame, yeah. Like
Yeah,
the actual, yeah.
the whole fucking gun is big. It's a great pistol.
Yeah, like I said, we were discussing the problems. Like my barrel was shot out and it was
Yeah,
used up and not replaced. But like I own a 92 FS and I love that thing. I love
yeah.
it. I
I
also
want
own
one.
92S and they're fucking beautiful too. But here's the thing: is like that. I can see why people are like, yeah, it was too big. The grip was too big. Well, okay.
And to be fair, the Beretta grip angle is a little bit awkward. It's a little bit more vertical than say a 1911.
Well, yeah, but it's about the same as an M17 or a 320, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing: is the 320, like you just said, has the capability of having different frames on it, right?
Hmm. But the
Now
Army's
that's never going to
never
get
gonna
out.
fucking issue them.
Yep, they're going to be like,
They're gonna put them in the medium frame
yep,
and they're gonna issue them
there
out
you go. Doesn't
because
matter. Deal
it's
with it.
yeah,
Doesn't matter.
because
Deal
that's
with
the
it.
way the fucking Army works.
Yep.
Were you
And
there? Were you in the unit yet when we got the Johnson radios? What were they Johnson, the EO Johnson radios that every single guy, they got enough radios issued to the company where every single guy could have a radio with an earpiece and a throat mic, so that way everybody could have radio wireless communications.
I must have still been in basic or something at that
I
point.
think I think that was I think that was '07, the summer of '07 when we
Oh
got
yeah, I
those.
wasn't in yet. No.
Um, yeah, they got the radios. They said, okay, this month everybody take them home, read the manuals, learn how to use them. We're going to start using these all the time when we're out in the field. And they never issued them out again. We came back the next month after having learned how to use them, after having charged the batteries, after reading the manuals, blah blah blah. Nobody, surprisingly, nobody lost anything.
Yeah. Were like the
Everything that
actual like old school like cop radio looking ones?
yeah, yeah.
We use those in Iraq
No,
all the time.
not the embedders. Like
No, they were
like
EF or EO Johnson or whatever the
yeah,
fuck you
the
said.
EO Johnson radios. Yeah,
We use those in Iraq all the time. With
but
sometimes we'd have
those weren't the
earpieces.
ones those weren't the ones that we brought from Wisconsin though.
No, no,
Those were
I'm not saying they
those
were, but like we used those and they worked fine. We
yeah,
charged them.
but
We take them back to our rooms and
but
like charge them. Yeah.
in '07 the entire brigade got them, enough for every soldier to have one, and they got issued out. We got sent home with them so we could learn how to use them.
Yeah.
We
And they
we
just
brought
never
them
issued
back.
them.
We brought them back the next month. We turned them back in. They went into the platoon cages and they never left the platoon cages again.
Yeah, that's stupid because those were actually very helpful for what we were doing.
Yeah.
Because yeah, we didn't have the earpieces, but we had the hand mics that we
Yep.
like cops. We were carrying like
Yep.
cops,
We
and we'd have them up here.
yeah, and the earpiece is plugged into the hand mic.
Correct. Yep. And sometimes we use the earpieces, but they usually got in the way of our gear and shit,
Yeah,
and like we didn't need them. But like and also you can't hear anything when you're at the one ear plugged. But
yeah.
no, we use those all the time in Iraq. I know they weren't ours, but like we definitely use those, and I think
But
I mean
but
they're
yeah,
big and bulky, but it's just again I put it in a pouch or in my
yeah,
pocket or some
yeah.
shit, you know.
They fit in a magazine pouch easily
Yeah, exactly.
in a
Yep,
2 meg pouch.
yep, yep.
But that they issued them to, they got them and they gave them to us to learn how to use. We turned them back in and we never touched them again.
And that
The
that's pretty stupid because that's a great way to have everybody on comms.
Yeah,
And again, you train everybody knows how to like shut the fuck up.
yeah.
You know, like
And you just you tell people you only transmit when you need to transmit. These aren't for conversations and chit chatting.
right, exactly. And that oh my god, that was a thing to interact. But like, so you remember there was a guy we had with us who was prior third ID active, and oh shit, did I cut out?
No,
Okay, prior third ID active, chubby
I
guy, he had a
I,
CIB
I
and
was just
whatever.
trying to remember who you're talking about. See if
I don't
and
want
I
to. I'll just type you his name on private chat.
yeah, because I'm kind of drawing a blank.
Oh shit.
I Oh yeah, yeah, him.
So we were sitting there one time in Iraq, and we were just sucking at cropper and whatever, and just. But everybody had the EO Johnsons, right? Everybody who
Yep.
was important apparently, and they're sitting there talking on the radio. It's a military fucking radio, okay?
Yeah,
Call signs and everything. Protocol is to be adhered to.
and that shit's being recorded.
Yes, and so there were certain units, pokes, that would just sit there and they would use first names on the radio. And one time there was shit going on. There was some like IDF that was going over us to BIOP or the airport and whatever,
Yep.
and and all that shit. It was kind of like a oh god, when are we gonna get hit night? And we were waiting for it, and all of a sudden there was counter RD or whatever going out from Liberty and shit. And we're like, oh god damn. And all of a sudden, yeah, I didn't hear you. Could you repeat that? And so this
Repeat.
guy, yeah, yeah, can you repeat that? And so this guy's going, we're having a conversation, and he's like, I can't if they fucking do it again. No, I didn't hear you. Can you repeat? And he goes, he grabs the fucking handset and he goes, repeat means fire again, ass clown. Maintain radio fucking discipline. And he throws the handset down. Then all the MPs, I mean, he was screaming too, right? And so all these MPs start going around. They're like, "Did you guys hear? There was somebody that broke radio discipline or protocol and all that shit. Blah, blah, blah. Did you guys hear that?" And I just went, "No, I might have heard it, but I don't know what you're talking about." And this
Yeah,
guy's
that
sitting right next to me, and he's like he's to the point where he's doing this. He's like just sitting there like fucking, and I'm like, "No, I don't. If I hear anything, I'll let you know." And
so for first deployment, we had the EO Johnsons. This was at Camp Navistar in Kuwait. We were sitting we had 9 towers around the perimeter of the base. 7 of them were manned during the day, and only all 9 of them were manned at night. Because a couple of them overlooked the ECPs and whatnot. But every now and then somebody at one of the the entire fob security sec 4 was all on the same frequency, so you had both positions of both ECPs plus all 7 or all 9 towers
yeah,
plus the QRF were all on the same fucking frequency on the EO Johnsons.
Jesus.
And um it works out to a platoon and a half worth of guys that are all on the same
But
freak.
that's still a lot, yeah.
And every now and then somebody would have a smart ass comment that our chain of command, like I still have the t-shirt that I had made at the Haji shop at Navistar. It says CSC Navistar Sec 4, and on the back it says we watch our 6 more than our 12.
Yep.
And I wore that fucking thing around base. I still have that fucking t-shirt. And like the fucking first sergeant. This was Alpha 2128. They don't exist anymore, so I don't feel bad saying that. But the fucking first sergeant and CO, they saw me wearing that shirt, and they saw it, and they said, "That's a good looking shirt, gentlemen." I'm like, if only you actually read what it fucking said, you fucking retards.
Right, exactly.
But
Yeah.
but anyway, somebody would say they would come out with some kind of stupid fucking, okay, we're doing this random anti-terrorism measure. We like Ram
Yep.
6, everybody Ram 6, and we all knew what it meant, but it's like, we're in fucking Kuwait, we're at fucking Navistar. There's nothing that's gonna fucking happen here.
Right.
And so somebody would inevitably would make some kind of wise ass fucking comment over the net.
Yep.
And without fail, every time that fucking happened, somebody in the talk, usually the first sergeant, would grab the fucking radio and say, "Last station, identify yourself."
Nope. I'm good.
It's like, what the fuck did he say? Does he think is gonna fucking happen? Think they're
Yeah.
actually gonna identify himself? No, it'd be radio silence
God
after
no.
that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is like,
In in all fucking deployment, sitting in the fucking towers, whatever. The towers were fully enclosed, and they had, when we first got there, we had to climb a ladder, straight up a ladder to get
yep.
in. And while we were there, they put staircases on every single tower.
Oh.
And so what the senior NCOs and officers would like to do is they would like to sneak up the staircase and try to catch us sleeping, because
Yeah.
we'd go up there and we'd fucking sleep in the towers. Well,
Yeah.
there was a way that you could set the chair up. We had this really uncomfortable plywood chair in every single tower. There was a way you could set the chair up so that you could block the door from being able to be opened from the outside.
Right.
And what we started doing is we started getting, the GMRS civilian walkie-talkies,
Yep.
and we were all on the same fucking channels on the GMRS walkie-talkies, and we would call it out to each other when somebody was coming around and checking the towers.
Oh yeah.
And we'd use the page button on them to make everybody else's walkies ring. And so we would do that, and then be say, "Hey, so and so's coming. Wake up," because we had 12 fucking hour shifts in those towers.
Yep.
And at night they broke it down to 6 hour shifts, but you had to do 2 6 hour shifts. Like you had to do a 6 hour shift. Like,
You're tired as fuck. Like
yeah,
the whole thing.
you're
Yeah,
fucking
bored,
tired.
You're tired. Yeah.
You're bored. You're tired. You're looking at the same fucking thing that hasn't changed in the last 6 months,
Right.
and it's not going to change because you're in fucking Kuwait. Fifth graders could have done our job just as successfully as we did.
Yeah.
And so we'd kick back in the tower. We'd angle these bar stool sized chairs with backrests. We'd angle them so they're leaning back against the back wall of the tower and blocking the door from being able to open. And we'd sit
Right.
there with our fucking body armor on and our K-pods and blah blah blah, because we're not allowed to take our body armor off when we're in a fucking steel tower that's surrounded by sandbags.
Right.
And they'd come up the staircases and try to open the door and catch us sleeping. Well, not gonna fucking catch us sleeping. We've been doing this longer than you have.
Yeah. Exactly. Fuck 'em.
You've spent like 15 minutes in a tower this whole fucking deployment. I've spent like 7 hours today in the tower.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my god, but
It's
yeah. That
no.
was just the epitome of retardedness. Be
Yeah.
glad you weren't on that fucking deployment.
Yeah. I was too young.
Yeah, and A company was the only company in the entire fucking battalion that was actually doing a Sec 4 mission.
Right.
Everybody else was either at Virginia or at Beering or at Ali Al Salim.
Been to all those places, but yes,
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, we had one company in the battalion that spent their whole fucking deployment at Beering. And they were supposed to be doing Sec 4, but Beering Sec 4 was taken care of by private security.
Well, there you go. Yeah, exactly.
Like they were there because they needed a U.S. military presence on the security detail, but they didn't fucking do anything. They got to spend their whole fucking deployment at Beering, which is a fucking paradise compared to everywhere else.
And that was when you still got combat patches for being in Kuwait. And
yeah,
it's like, because I remember
you still get a third army patch for being deployed to Kuwait, even now.
well, no, because here's the thing is, like, when I was going on leave in 09 and we flew back, we flew from Iraq to Salim. We flew there, and so we get there, and then we're out processing just to like turn our IOTVs and our shit and whatever before we actually get on the bird out of there. We were sitting there in line, and it was me and one of the females from my unit that I actually went to high school with, which is fun. So it wasn't like super uncomfortable. It was like we know each other, we're good to go. Had somebody to travel with, and so we're sitting there in line to turn in all of our shit. And there's this Marine Corps gunnery sergeant in front of us, next to like an E5 or an E6 Marine, and obviously they had come back from Afghanistan. They're going home on leave, and so we're sitting there in line, and I'm just like, I just want to go home. 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 Because that was October and I had been there since May, and I'm like, I just want to go home. Just want to go home. And these fucking people, the army people that were like in charge of like processing us, are walking by, and there's this like female E4, and she starts bitching to another like dude, like an E4 or whatever, just lower enlisted. She's like, "Oh my god, did you fucking hear that thing? Like, I'm not gonna get a combat patch for this deployment." And they're not gonna give us hazardous duty pay anymore. Oh my god, how fucking retarded is I can't believe this. And I'm sitting there going, huh. And she just wouldn't stop. And she kept bitching to this guy about it. And they're both like, yeah, I mean, it's just so stupid. Like, we're over here doing our thing. And all of a sudden, this Marine who's talking to his friend or somebody he knows, this gunnery sergeant, he stops talking. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like waiting for it. I'm like, oh, you better shut up there, specialist. And all of a sudden he goes, hey! And he fucking just starts unloading on her. He goes, your fucking pogue ass is sitting here in fucking Kuwait. All these people have been in Iraq and Afghanistan for X amount of fucking months in the shit. What the fuck are you bitching about? You fucking don't. And he just goes off on this like very one-sided, like good rant. I don't remember the exact words, but it was basically alluded to that, right? And she locks up at parade rest. She's like, yes, Sergeant. He goes, I haven't been a sergeant in fucking 12 years. What the fuck? Doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, she didn't know the rank, obviously. And he realized that. And I'm sitting there and I start laughing and I'm like, and then so he gets
Are you
done.
going to bed, buddy?
He gets done chewing her a new asshole.
Come here, bud.
And then she just marches on and then stops bitching and is gone. And the towhead is on. Towhead number 1 is on. Your sound's all fucked up.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
my mic shut off.
Yeah.
Hi, you're going to bed, aren't you? He's pointing at the Normandy SR2 on my monitor from Mass Effect, and it just changed.
Cute.
I don't have any choo-choo trains that show up on my monitors. Just video game stuff. He's crazy about choo-choo trains. Daniel,
Good.
you see the choo-choo? Where's the choo-choo? He's
You
looking.
making a fat joke? Because it ain't gonna work.
No.
Oh.
No, he loves choo-choo trains. He's got a choo-choo calendar in his bedroom.
God damn.
You
He
going
looks
to
like a
bed, buddy?
fucking White Walker. His fucking eyes are so blue.
No, there's no choo-choo. I was kidding.
No
I
choo-choo.
better pull one up, otherwise.
He's gonna get pissed. Shit, he's talking a lot more than last time we talked.
Oh God, yeah.
Jeez.
I just pulled up a page of choo-choo pictures. He's pointing at my monitor over here saying choo-choo.
Yeah. Choo-choo.
Okay, Daniel, you gotta go to bed. Go find Mama. Go find Mama. Mama's got choo-choos. Mama's got choo-choos. Daniel, show Mama the choo-choo in your bedroom. Show Mama the choo-choo picture in your bedroom. Yeah,
Nice.
he's got a Union Pacific calendar in his bedroom.
Good.
So, oh, kids are so much fun. Hey, how's your attempts at creating one going?
We're gonna go real hard this month, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's a mission. It's like
Um,
a yeah.
is this a determining month as to whether she's going to go in for that?
No, it's not. It's just that we're very lazy people,
Okay.
and usually we're just too tired and don't do that kind of thing. But we're gonna go for it this like it's gonna be business this month of
Yeah.
like here's the schedule, and so
Having kids is definitely a life-changing event.
yeah, and it's gonna happen. It's gonna be fun. I just have to figure out how to lock up and secure all the dangerous shit around my house that I have.
Yeah. It's not as hard as you might think.
No, but it's still it's like
Especially since you work from home, it'll be a lot easier.
no, I get that, and that's the thing is there's always gonna be somebody with the kid,
Yeah.
but it's like I've got. I mean, a baby or a toddler can't pull the charging handle back on a fucking AR. I get that, right?
Yeah.
But there's knives, there's fucking just sharp things that I have everywhere, and it's like, how's the police? But we're gonna have 9 months to, like
You have
figure that
nine
out.
months. You have 9 months initially, but they're not going to start even really walking until about a year old.
But here's the
So
thing: is I know in the 9 months I'll get most of it, and then I'll find things that's like,
yeah, but
oh,
but no,
that'll
you
be
still
dangerous.
you've got almost 2 years from the time that you
Yeah,
know
yeah,
one's
I
on the
know that. I
way.
know that. I know that. But
So
that's just one of, and also I can sell more helmet covers and sell more military surplus shit, and I'm gonna get some safes for the guns just to like, get them the fuck. I know all my guns, most of them are unloaded,
mhm,
and it's not gonna be a thing. But it's also like just them falling on a
yeah.
toddler. It's like yeah. So
Like what I did, and you've seen my gun wall, but what I did is I put my heavy guns on the bottom,
yeah,
and the lighter guns are up towards the
yeah,
ceiling,
because it's
and
yeah,
the one long gun that I have that's actually loaded is up towards the ceiling.
right, yeah. It's
So
yeah, it's gonna be interesting because I have to finally, for once in my life, worry about dangerous things laying around, even though right now I've got so many just sharp things laying around.
Andrew Craig's got a good comment.
What
New
did he
dad
say?
here. New dad here. My little girl's 11 months. You'll suddenly have a great appreciation anytime you can do chores with both hands. That is so true. Like
Yeah,
half the time when I'm home and not doing this, half the time I've got my 2-year-old sitting
yeah,
on my right. I'm right hand dominant, and I've got him sitting on my right forearm, and I'm
right.
carrying him around just because, just because.
Yeah,
But
no, it,
no,
it makes sense. And then yeah,
it,
it's gonna it's in the stars, so it's gonna happen soon. But yeah, it's gonna be fun because then I'll have a little me running around, and
it is so worth it. Like
it'll be interesting. Yeah, I know, I
like
know. And
I didn't think that I was gonna want kids for a long time,
yeah, I've always
and
wanted
then
kids, and it's like, yeah, it's just the past couple of years kind of demoralized me a bit, with the
yeah,
whole. But I got past that, and it's like, yeah, we're definitely gonna do that, and it's gonna be interesting because then they
it
get to an
it
age
com-
where they're gonna start
it
questioning me, and then I have to question myself, and I'm like,
yeah,
I want that.
yeah, and it changes you in ways that you can't even comprehend. Like your entire outlook
Right.
on
That's what I've
the
heard. Yep.
world, it gets flipped.
Yeah,
Like
because you can't
before,
be as selfish as what I've heard. You can't be as selfish. I'm a
no,
I'm a very selfish
it
person, and I think
it's
that'll help. Yeah.
it's not really so much you can't be as selfish as it is you have no desire to be selfish.
Well, yeah, whatever. Yeah,
Yeah,
same result. Like and so yeah, I think that's gonna be freaking cool. And
like
Yeah.
As soon as you hold your child for the first time, you're like, everything that I'm doing is for this little person.
Yeah.
Like this person's needs come before mine, come before the wife, everything.
Yep. And that's what I've heard, and we'll get there.
And it's such a wonderful feeling. I really wish everybody could experience it.
Yep. And
Like
yeah.
if everybody could experience that, if everybody knew what that felt like to hold your child for the first time and to understand that my world is no longer mine. My world is now
Yep.
theirs.
Yep.
The world would be a better place.
Yeah. I think so. And we're getting a lot away from that, and I think that's a big reason. I mean, we won't get on that topic because it's
Yeah.
fucking demoralizing and dark. But like, yeah. I mean, we're good to go, and yeah. So shortly, hopefully, little Mike B is gonna be running around contaminating the earth with my thoughts, my ideas,
It's so much
and
fun. It is
and
so
then
much fun.
questioning me. Yeah. So, but yeah.
They're going to be your best friend for about the first 10 years.
Yeah, I remember. Here's the thing: is like I've looked at a meme, which is funny because you're in the same category. Is we're at the age right now where old people look at us like we're kids, like we're still
Yep.
young, but young people look at us like we're fucking ancient.
Yeah, kids who are in their 20s look at us like we're fucking ancient.
And I'm
And
like,
it's
not really. Like I remember everything, like or most things from when I was a kid. I remember how that feels and everything.
mhm.
But it's also
I
like,
don't feel old.
yeah, I don't feel old yet. And yeah, it's a weird thing, but
Especially now since I've lost so much weight in the last year. Like fuck, man. I feel
you
like
still have
I'm
a
in
flounder head though. That's never gonna go away.
I had that when I was 17. Shut up.
Yeah, but like that's never gonna go away. You get the flounder head going. Like you can lose as much weight as you want, and it's just gonna get worse.
Yeah.
You start to see the
But
bones and shit, like your skull. Oh god,
the
I don't
point
I don't
is
envy you. Yeah,
the point is that I've lost so much weight in the last year. I feel like I'm in my mid 20s again.
yeah,
I feel like I
yep,
did when we got back from Iraq.
yep,
Like
yeah,
I run now. I don't go for runs, but when I'm at work and things are going really smooth and I'm actually motivated to continue, let's keep this day fucking rolling. I'll fucking run across the parking lot to get back to my truck if I need to move it.
right. Because you don't have
Instead
that
of just
extra fucking. You don't have that extra 60 pounds of fucking rucksack on your body at all
on my
times.
gut.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, think about it, like that's the way I think about it. Is like, so my goal is to lose about I don't know 40 pounds, right?
Mhm.
I'd be good with that. 40 pounds is a light ruck load,
Yeah.
very light.
Yeah,
But
and I'm down
it's
50
still
pounds.
40 fucking pounds or 50 pounds or whatever the hell. That's still the shit that you when you carry it when you're in shape, you're like, God damn, this is such a fucking annoyance and blah blah blah. But then you're like, well, you carry it around every day, all day, and it's still an annoyance. You just don't realize it because you get used
Yeah.
to it or you
Yeah.
ignore it, you know? And it's like, oh, well, when you lose weight, you're like, well, I'm not carrying a fucking 50-pound ruck around
Exactly.
more things and feel better. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I get that.
Exactly.
So, but
It's like I feel so much fucking better, and it's all because I went on a keto diet. And
yeah, I've done that a few times. I have an unhealthy relationship with food. I always have. That's kind of my coping mechanism, right? I'll go
yeah,
to food if things are stressful or whatever. And, you know, I've been about
I
to the
s-
pound, like
I
the same
still
weight
do
since I was 18.
I still do that. Like I have the food coping as well, but I found better foods to cope with.
Well, I
I
have
found
too,
I
but
found
it's
keto friendly foods to cope with.
yeah, I've tried that and I've been on keto before and I've lost, 30 pounds in a month and a half
Yeah.
and, felt great. And then yeah, I have a big problem with food
Hmm.
and it's not necessarily like I don't eat like cake and shit like that. Sweets are not my thing. I'll just eat a ton of my portions will go from like what normally should be eaten to about 5 times what should be eaten.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing that I have is like that's how I cope with
I-
things. That's how I try to feel better or whatever.
It's not the type
Yeah,
of food; it's the quantity of food.
quantity, yes. So I could be on keto, right? But if you're eating 5 times the portions that are recommended or whatever, it's still not good.
Yeah,
And that's
eating a
what I'll do.
36-ounce steak instead of a 5-ounce
Right.
steak.
There you go. Exactly. And so it I know that I recognize it and I recognize it is half the battle. But yeah, I have a very unhealthy relationship with food and it whatever. A lot of it's from my childhood and like just using food to cope with all that shit, whatever. But
Yep.
like um no, it's just that's the thing is like I'll eat like you said, yeah, 36-ounce steak versus a 5-ounce steak, and I'll just continue doing that. And then when I feel better, and then I'm like, okay, we're good. But the damage is already done,
Yeah.
because it
And
goes through phases.
and me, I did a lot of boredom eating over the last 10 years or so.
Yeah.
Actually, no, last 14 years. It basically ever since we got home from Iraq, I did a lot of boredom eating, and my
Hmm.
boredom eating was always like chips and crackers and shit.
All just empty carbs.
Yeah.
Empty carbs. Yep.
Yep. Yep.
And that when we got back in 2010, we
And
would literally
Oreos.
go. We would go to Walmart, and we'd spend like $100 on like frozen dinners, and like I'd get like the frozen like burritos and chimichangas, right?
Yep.
And instead of eating one of those, I'd eat 6 or 7 at one
Yeah.
time, and I'd be drinking a fucking half rack of Keystone, So like probably 15 beers plus a half a handle of Jack a night, and so the sugar on there, and that's I just wanted nothing to do with being in the military, even though I was
Yep.
still in. I was just like, fuck it, I'm mentally checked out.
Yep.
And then that's how I was coping with things is just food, excessive eating, and drinking a lot. But like
Yeah,
it
that's
just
normal.
yeah, and it just that's what I do is I eat a lot when I'm stressed out about anything. I'll find an excuse. But um yeah, we're going on a track right now. Again, we're just kind of not cutting things out, but portion control mainly.
Hmm.
And we're just doing that, and then making safansifying meals that we're good with, and then also working on mentality, meditating, getting
Yep.
in because a lot of it's mental. Most of it's mental, actually.
Yeah, and for me, I just decided last year, it's like, fuck it. I'm tired of being 270 fucking pounds.
Yeah,
I'm sick of being heavy. I'm going to do something different
yeah,
because I've tried everything that you can think of. I've tried the diet pills, I've tried exercise, blah blah blah. I've tried it all. The only thing I haven't tried is going on a diet that I have lots of testimony, lots of firsthand testimony that it
yep.
fucking works.
Well, here's the thing: once you find something that works for you, stick with it. It's good,
Yep.
you know. And like I said,
And
I've tried it. I've tried it several times. My shit, I'm my own worst enemy mentally, right? When it
yep.
comes to like all that shit, and I get that, but it's a lot easier to like say, oh, just do this, just do that, than to actually like implement that and stick with it because there's things come up in life, and it's like every excuse I could possibly get. I'm like, well, I'll just put whatever, and it's and I know what it is, but it's tackling the problem is the first part is like the mental part,
Yep.
and been
And,
working on
and
that.
for
So yeah,
and for me, it was just so fucking easy to just eat shit because of my job. I'm always
oh
at
yeah, you're a
gas
trucker,
stations.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
always at truck stops.
yep.
There's never any good healthy food options.
No, there's not.
Um,
That's fucked up too because that you'd think that you can go into a truck stop and like Quick Trip, right? I love Quick Trip. They're
I
fucking
love Quick Trip
amazing.
too, but they
But
have shit for food.
they have just absolute the worst possible shit you could
Their
eat.
their food is delicious. I love their
Yep.
food,
Oh yeah.
but it's
God
so
yeah.
fucking bad for you.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
And
it's
it's like
it's nothing
addictive
but
and it's
carbs.
yeah, and it's carbs and sugar and
Yeah,
fucking yeah, it's just insane. But like
and grease.
yeah, I wish that well, grease isn't bad if you don't have the sugar and carbs with it. That's
Yeah.
the thing. But I wish like you know places like that, like gas stations and just everywhere in general, grocery stores. But here's the thing: is it's profitable.
Hmm.
It's cheap to make carbs. It's cheap to make
And then
whatever.
you can sell them for a huge markup and make money off of
Dude,
them.
Yeah, and that that
Yeah,
that's 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 where the problem lies as far as the American
and
diet.
and the beautiful the word, I don't know if you can call it beautiful, but the thing is though is that it's so fucking obvious because the corn syrup industry, the high fructose corn syrup, is a fucking byproduct, and I'm getting onto a
Of
fucking
World War
rant
II
here. It's a fucking byproduct of the ethanol industry, and the ethanol industry is federally subsidized.
because of World War II. Yes.
Yeah, well, it's also because of the fuel crunch in the 1970s.
Well, that gave them a boost. But yeah, it
Yeah,
goes back to World War II. If you look at
yeah,
World War II and like, you know, because so I have celiac, right? So I can't eat, wheat, barley, or
hmm,
rye. Well, before the 1940s, I could, right? There's people that go to Sicily. There's a part in Sicily where there's nothing that's been cross contaminated. There's nothing like cross pollination because it's so far off the Italian mainland where
yep,
they grow the same wheat and grains that they have for millennia, right? And people go there that have celiac and they're able to eat the bread and the pasta and whatever, no adverse effects.
yeah, because it's not genetically engineered for
Right.
larger yields.
Correct. And yeah, and so that's one thing to consider. And so I guess yeah, we're in a point right now where, I was talking with Don about this. Like, I don't know if humans are made or can be ready for the amount of change that's happened in the past, let's say 150 years, right?
Mm-mm. No,
Because it's
we're
happened
not ready
so
for it.
goddamn fast. It's happened so fucking fast.
Well, my dad is 73 years old. He's got type 2 diabetes. He takes insulin. Um, when he moved in with me 2 years ago after his ex-wife kicked him out, um, he's 5'9". He weighed 260 pounds, 250
Jesus
pounds.
Christ.
And type 2 diabetic, he's got two artificial knees, so he can't exercise.
Right.
He's got steel plates holding 5 of his ribs together. He's got a pacemaker defibrillator. He's not in good physical shape. Like,
Right.
and there's nothing he can do exercise wise to get into good physical shape
Yeah.
anymore
Yep.
because he's so far gone. He moved in with me and my wife and lived with us for a year and a half, and then he moved out into his own apartment. Last time he weighed himself, um, he was 180 pounds
Yeah.
because he came down here and he started eating good food.
Yeah.
He
There you
started
go.
eating home cooked food instead of eating the shit that he was eating when he was still living up in Ladysmith.
Yep.
Like, he didn't cook for himself when he was up there. His supper would be a bag of potato chips and some hot dogs,
Yeah.
or a pan fried hamburgers.
That's what
Like
you said. Like,
like
good
he
cooking
was
for him is get the cheapest possible cooking oil and just
yeah,
dumping
and
Dinty
he would
more
pour
into it. Yeah.
he'd pour a half a bottle of vegetable oil into a frying pan
Oh.
and basically deep fry a hamburger patty,
Oh.
and then rinse it down with a Diet Coke.
Oh yeah. Good for you. Yep.
And he moved down here. We started cooking for him. When he moved into his own place, we bought him kitchen cookware. He's got a full kitchen now. He can make basic meals. We bought him two different cookbooks. Like one
Yeah.
of those
Yep.
is one of those 4 ingredient cookbooks.
Hmm.
And we're like, stop eating the shit. Don't drink soda. Don't eat chips. You know, hamburger. You know, hamburger's a really good. It's just a really good staple.
Yeah. But if you don't balance it out right,
Yeah,
yeah.
but we got him onto he's not on the full keto diet like I am, but we got him onto a healthier diet
Real
than
food.
he's
Real food.
real food. We got him
Yep.
onto a healthier diet than he's been on in probably 30 years.
Yep.
And in the 2 years that he's been living down here, his doctor has reduced his daily insulin dosage 4 times.
Nice.
Like he's down. He takes he takes 2 different types of insulin, in the morning and in the evening. A
Well, and
dose of
type
each.
2 can be mitigated quite effectively
E-
through diet and exercise.
yeah,
He can't do the exercise, but the diet part, yeah. I mean,
yeah. His insulin dosage has been reduced 4 times since he moved down here, and he's only been down here 2 years.
yeah.
Like
Well,
he's down to less than 10 milliliters of insulin in the morning and in the evenings.
yeah.
It's like his A1C number is in normal range for somebody who isn't diabetic.
Right.
Uh, and he weighs less than I do. He's 5'9". He weighs way less than I do. He hasn't weighed 180 pounds in my entire life.
Yeah, that's good. You also have to deal with your mother, which is probably a big.
No, that was his most recent ex-wife was not my mother. That was
Oh,
his. Yeah.
that's right. Yes, yeah. Okay, yeah, I know
My
that. Yep,
mother
yep,
was my mother was his first ex-wife.
yeah. She's an
And yeah,
upstanding citizen,
yeah.
but
Let's not go there.
no, we're not going there. But like, yeah, it's that
The audience doesn't need to be committing seppuku.
no, but that could be a contributor to why he developed shitty habits. We'll just put it that
Oh
way.
yeah, yeah, it was. It
Yep,
absolutely was. He didn't realize it, and
yep,
in talking to him over the last 2 years, I've helped him realize that your choices in life partners were absolutely fucking shit. And yes, I know I'm talking about my mother, but I'm like, she used you. You both of your wives used you until there was nothing left for them to use.
right. Because he was like a worm and just like I need the companionship and yeah. And here's the thing: is there's so many people like that. I was guilty of it when I was younger, and I get it. That's the thing is I don't blame people like your dad. Like
No,
I get it. I,
well,
I understand it.
and also the type of women that he was going after, they're they're natural manipulators.
Well, that's the thing is like had I married my exes, right? I'd we probably wouldn't be talking right now. Like I don't know where the fuck I'd be. It would not be having a YouTube channel where there's, Jesus Christ, there's 13 people watching us. That's actually a lot more than I would think. So there's no way I'd be here because they were so manipulative and just so fucking whatever. And but I see when people like would just go for people like that were toxic just because I
Hmm.
have somebody. I have somebody.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, and you try to keep it together as long as possible, but it's just yeah. So anyway,
And all you end up doing is you literally end up withering away on the vine.
correct. Yep.
And the worst part is you don't even realize you're doing it until it's too late, until there's nothing
Oh
left
yeah,
to give.
you're already done. Yeah.
Yeah,
At that
until
point.
there's
Yeah.
nothing left to give,
Yep.
and they throw you away because you have nothing left.
Yeah.
And
No, exactly.
I hate to say it, but it is very common behavior for the boomer generation of feminists to be abusive and narcissistic and manipulative like that. It's so fucking common.
Yep. Yeah, it is. But all that shit aside, like
Yeah.
that's another rabbit hole we could go into for fucking 5 hours. But
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll save that for next week when Jonesy can be here.
Oh, Jones, that gotta go on about that shit. Yeah, he's fucking Jonesy. He's goddamn Eastern Tennessee. Hey man, I might sound like I fucked my sister, but I really don't, man. I love everybody, and here's the thing: I give everybody an equal opportunity to fuck off. I know he's probably fucking tuning in or he's gonna tune in, but that's basically yeah. I mean, now Jonesy's fucking awesome. He's again like the whole thing is like with vets and all that shit is like you and I just sat and talked about just life and shit for over 2 hours right
2 hours.
now. We talked about military shit for maybe about 20 minutes of that entire thing, so 10%.
Hmm.
And Jonesy, yeah, he did his thing, all that shit, but he's done a lot more shit than having just been in the military. And
Well,
you know,
fuck! Look at how long we talked about electricity.
right, that's what I mean. And like that talk I had with Don last week. Yeah, he was in Vietnam. He had a rough time and a
But
rough life, but he
that
did
wasn't the
so
only
much
thing he
more.
ever did in his life.
No, he did so much more. That guy is fucking amazing. Like, just his whole life is just. I don't give a shit if it's military related. Like, it was just awesome to hear about how he was thinking about certain points in his life and decisions, because he's an entrepreneur as well, and he did very well for himself, worked his ass off, and it's just like it's so fun, and that's kind of why I like doing these talks and shit. And um, yeah, it's really cool to like see just yeah, you're a vet. Okay, cool. You're a combat vet. You've been
What
overseas.
else?
You've been in a combat zone, but you're still a human being,
Yeah.
and you've done
And
shit since then. Hopefully, because
that's one thing that
yeah,
drives me absolutely insane about Daniel's godfather. He's the 4ID tanker vet that I know.
hmm
Really nice, really good guy. Like, he'd give you the shirt off of his fucking back. But his entire identity revolves around him, around 1 year of his
of his
life
entire life. Yep,
from his late 20s.
and
And
yeah,
yeah,
that
he went in older than the average guy. I think he went through basic when he was 23 or 24.
yeah,
But he did one tour in Iraq in 2005-6. So yeah, it was during the surge. He was on a tank. He was dual MOS, tanker and medic.
but it's still that's
He
1 year out of your entire life that you think you have to base your
mhm.
entire life's identity out of.
And yes, he was gonna make a career out of the army, but he is only in for 4.5 years.
That's what I was. Yeah, it's like
He was only in for 4.5 years, and that is the core of his identity. And
it's sad.
right after he got medicaled out of the army for a bad knee that the fucking army fucked up in the first place,
Yeah,
he fell off his tank in the middle of the night, off the top of the turret, all the way to the ground,
ouch.
because somebody turned the turret in the middle of the night when he was sleeping, and he didn't look before he jumped off the bustle. He thought the back of the tank was there, and it wasn't.
Yeah,
And so he tore his ACL when he did that, and then when he got back from Iraq, the army surgeons did a repair job on his ACL using, at the time, 10-year-old methods that were outdated in the civilian world. And then his chain of command didn't allow it to heal properly.
right. But so long story short,
So
he
so
based
he
his
gets
entire identity off of
and
that
then
whole
as soon
thing.
as he gets out of the army, he goes and gets a job um, doing Department of Defense law enforcement at Lima, Ohio, at the tank plant where they're building tanks. So he goes from the military to quasi-military,
Yeah.
federal
So
government
he just
service,
never got out of that, and
A-
that's
a-
yeah.
and he
And here's
and
the
he
thing
only
is
did that for 4 years.
right, and so here's the thing is like my whole point is this whole bro vet culture and all that shit. I'm like at a certain point you gotta just fucking get out of it, man. Like
Yeah, I mean,
it's
I still wear a fucking operator hat with a flag on it. Yeah.
also. Did you see this that I have?
Oh, nice. I like that.
So I showed Don this because
I
he actually there was
I
a point in
like
the
that.
conversation that we had where he goes, "Why don't you wear an Iraq veteran hat?" I said, "Well, because I don't want people to be uncomfortable around me." And then I showed him the ribbon, like I just showed you,
Hmm.
the patch, which
Yep.
I don't even think the guy on eBay I bought it from doesn't make them anymore, which pisses me off.
Oh,
But
fuck.
I
Because
know,
I like
because I was gonna
that.
get you one, and I was like, "Fuck." But
I actually just pulled up a web browser to look for him.
dude, and so he goes, I wouldn't even know what that was if you wouldn't have told me. I said, that's how I want it to be because the people that will recognize it,
We'll
they'll be the
recognize it.
ones that go, "Hey, how's it going, man?" If whatever. And I'm like, that's why I don't wear like a flashy thing, is because I get uncomfortable if people come up to me and say thank you for your service, because I
That's a
mean I
conversation killer. I fucking hate that phrase. That
right,
that
but we
one
talked about that,
sentence.
and it's like it's because it was it's not that I hate people saying that, because I'm not a dickhead to anybody that says that in person.
It's because it shuts off conversation. There's nowhere to go after that. It's like,
What that's because I think, and it's true, is they're very uncomfortable because they don't know what to say. And
yeah,
it's just like, I'm just, again, like we were just talking about, I'm a human being.
yeah. Just talk to me.
Just talk. Let's just talk about whatever. If you were an electrician, okay, we'll find that. Just because I did a job for 4.5 years and I did 1 year deployed, in Iraq, does not mean that I'm any
That's the
different
only
than
thing I know.
right. It was a job I did,
Yeah,
and
I know that job very well. It
and
wouldn't take much for
it did change a lot of things in my life,
yeah. It
some for the
wouldn't
better,
take it
some for the
wouldn't take
worse,
much
but
it wouldn't take much for me to get proficient with that job again.
no, but it's still a job, it's like, and it's, it does have an influence on me. I'm not going to ignore it, but I don't want people to feel uncomfortable talking with me because of that whole stigma of being put up on a pedestal for so many years, and it just kind of became a socially accepted and encouraged thing to do, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I talked about that a lot with Don. You'll see it when it comes out. But we talked about that because he couldn't understand that because he had the opposite experience, right? And he came back,
Yeah.
nobody gave a fuck. And there's like, just go fucking do your thing. Just, just blend in with society and just get a job, do your thing, go to
Yep.
school, whatever you want to do.
Disappear.
Yep, disappear. And with us, it was this highfalutin fucking praise, and we're like, well, I don't think I deserve that necessarily, and then it makes people uncomfortable because they're like, well, I should be treating this guy like he's on a it's like, no, 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 no. I just want to be treated like everyone else. Like I want to be treated like a human. That's it. And so anyway, but yeah, I don't know if this guy makes these patches anymore because I should have bought like I should have bought like 10 of them because they're so fucking cool.
Yeah,
So
you should see if you can find his contact on eBay and send him a message.
yeah,
See
because
if you can make more.
I'll get a few of them and like send them out to. I think he does. He at the time he did OEF, the Afghan ribbon as well. And but they're so cool because they fit on the fucking
On the
they fit
name
on the
tape.
fucking name tape. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's really discreet.
Hmm.
It's like whatever, but
Yeah.
yeah, this is the hat I wear every day. Like I wear it out
Yeah.
in public, and yeah,
Yeah. I've got a black one.
yeah. And so
And
I love the ribbon because I like we were talking about, I don't know if this is I've probably said on the live stream a bunch of times, but like that is the only medal slash ribbon that I feel like I actually earned that wasn't just given to me,
yeah. Yep.
Like
Like
yeah.
the AAM that I got on my first deployment, I fucking earned that. My driver badge, I fucking earned that. Because the AAM I got because of how detailed I was with doing my PMCSs and keeping the vehicles maintained and functioning.
Right, yeah, there's certain awards that you get that you're like I earned that
The
versus
the
yeah.
RCOM that I got for deployment number 2,
Oh, me too.
I didn't fucking
Dude,
earn an
my
RCOM.
dad got an Archon with a V device for what he did. You know what he did, and
Yeah.
I'm like, that's why when they were like, all right, you're getting an Arcom, and I'm like, I just don't. They're like, no, just fucking, you don't have to wear it, but just fucking. And I'm like, and I told my dad that, and he goes, no, wear it. You earned it. And I was like, no,
Um
I didn't. But
my humanitarian service medal, I fucking earned that. That one's a
right, that's
hard one
another
to
one that
get.
you have. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
unique one. Yeah, that's awesome. And
Yeah.
that
I got that because we helped clean up around Hadesburg, Mississippi after Katrina went through.
but out of 8, because you have, I think we were talking about this. Do you have 10 or 12
12.
ribbons? 12, yeah.
12.
I have 8. And out of that 8, the only one that I actually give a shit about is the Iraq campaign medal. And I like the design of it. I like the colors, like the sand that's in
Hmm.
between the colors of the Iraqi flag, and everything. And I really like that. And that's why I do take pride in that a lot. It's on my license plate, because I like that. But that's about it. And the rest of the stuff is just whenever.
Yeah. I'm actually going to send this to you on Discord so you can share it.
Okay.
Copy.
I'm about ready to fucking
Because yeah, me
color a
too.
night too. Yeah. So
I'm getting there too because I gotta, like I said, I gotta get up by 2 o'clock in the morning.
yeah.
There. You can share that on stream if you want to.
Oh, that's your ribbon stack. Yeah.
Yep, that's my ribbon board.
Here, let me.
And actually, there was for a little while there was actually a mistake on my DD214. It said that I had a second award on my good conduct ribbon. Or
Oh, good
no,
cookie.
not my good conduct. My Natty D.
There. Look at that.
Yep,
Very cute.
that's
Yeah, you got overseas service ribbon 2 times.
yep.
The gay pride
Army.
ribbon,
Yep.
mobilization device, humanitarian medal, GWAT, Armed Forces
G.
Expeditionary Medal, Iraq Campaign Medal, Bronze Star for campaign, NDS or National Defense Service Medal. What is the other one? The one right below the ARCOM. What is that?
I don't even remember.
Oh, is it the right medal?
No. Um. It was some kind of fuck. It was some kind of mobilization medal of some sort.
Sure. Good Cookie,
Um.
AM, and then ARCOM.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's my ribbon board.
Mine is way less impressive than that.
Thinribbons.com.
Yeah. I'll show my little stack here for those who are still watching. The wicked stack. That's on my actual class A's, so
Yeah. Yeah. I actually put my ribbon board on my class A, my thin ribbon board on my class A's. Nobody ever said a fucking word about it.
yeah, it's because it's authorized. It's fine.
Yeah.
But
Like,
yeah, I've just got the fucking I got a lot of the same ones. I have all the same ones you do. You
yeah.
just got more. I got the overseas service ribbon, the gay pride ribbon, and then
Yeah, you've got the GWAT service, but you don't have the GWAT expeditionary.
no, because I only did one tour.
Yep. Yeah, I got the
So
expeditionary
because
for
we get
my
to
first
choose
tour.
between that and the Iraq campaign medal, and I wanted
Yep.
the Iraq campaign medal,
Yep.
and so I
And
chose
because
that.
I already had the GWAT, I got the GWAT
Yep,
E. I got the Iraq campaign.
yep, yeah, I know. Yep.
You
So
don't. Hey, the Iraq campaign, that ribbon is one damn good looking ribbon.
that's what I say. That's why I wear it every day.
Hmm.
So
I actually have a license plate frame on my Jeep that says infantry on the top and it's got the Iraq campaign ribbon on the bottom.
I actually got personalized vet plates.
I don't.
I did. I bought that because and have you ever seen my plates?
No. Nope. Nope. And
The
I don't think you need to
personalized
put them
is
on stream either.
the no, I'm not going to. No, I'll just say it. Like you can fucking look this up. But like my personalized vet plate is the Iraq war veteran with the medal and everything,
Yep.
and it's KAR98K.
Yeah.
That is my license plate on my Jeep. So I've gotten a few people like when I'm walking out of wherever I'm at, they're like, "Fucking love the plates, man. KAR98, K98's a fucking awesome rifle," and I'm like, "Yep."
Yeah, I do want to get one.
Yeah, you should. I mean, they cost more money. They're like $100 a
Yeah.
year versus the 70 or
No,
whatever the
not
fuck.
the plate, a K98.
Oh, you don't have a Canadian? Oh,
I don't
well,
have any
good luck.
Mosins. I don't have any Mausers.
Oh, we're gonna
I
have
don't
to
have.
fucking fix that quick, fast, and in a hurry.
I really want that Polish Mauser that Pogue's got. That TJ's got.
Oh yeah, yep, yeah.
I want that Polish Mauser. I
Yep.
don't even want his necessarily. I just want a Polish Mauser.
Well, the WZ-29 is a fucking. It's basically a predecessor to the K98. It's based off the VZ-24, which is the best I think Mauser short rifle ever fucking made. But let's not. That's another rabbit hole that I don't want to talk about for another fucking 5 hours because
Yeah.
don't get me started on Mausers. Like those fucking, they're awesome rifles, and so we'll get you
What is
hooked
it?
up.
The WZ-29? Is that what it was?
Yeah,
Yeah, it
that's a
is.
Polish one that you want. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, that's right. I've got it saved on proxy bid. Oh, there's one of them. There's one of them there right now too.
Don't come on stream. Don't do that. Don't be a fag or shit. Don't be a one of those guys. But anyway, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna go drink a bunch of water and go to bed. And
I'm gonna take my green screen down and go to bed.
yep, sounds good. Thanks for watching, everybody. What do you think the keyword should be if somebody's watching this ex post facto and they made it this far?
Magic Pixies.
Magic Pixies. Type that in the comments if you made it this far watching after we streamed. So, all right. Thanks for watching, everybody. And perhaps we'll see you on the next episode of Friday Night Shite.
Have a good night.